Well, a very warm welcome back to the Kia Oval here on BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Leicester and the Surrey live stream. The lunch break is over and Leicestershire are 97 for 2. 2 wickets in 2 balls this morning for Jordan Clark, getting rid of Sam Evans, caught at short leg for 22, and then having dared now BW next ball without scoring, but Hassan Azad has played very nicely for 52. Colin Ackerman, the captain, is 12 not out. It means Leicestershire still trail by 200 runs. There is still an awful lot of cricket left today. Richard Ray is alongside me. I'd have thought Leicestershire are pretty happy with where they find themselves at lunchtime.
I think they would have... Oh, well, obviously they would have preferred to lose none or one wicket. They're still in the game in terms of saving it, of course, with just the 2 gone. But this is, one feels, the key partnership. Azad and Ackerman, 2 classy players in their own very different way, have got to be together, possibly still at tea. They almost have to go through this session, I think, the Foxes, without losing another wicket if they're going to stand their best chance of saving the game. Still plenty of overs for Surrey. Because we had 3 sort of longish delays this morning, we had nothing like the usual sort of 32 overs in the session that theoretically we should have. There are still 72 left to bowl. That's a lot of overs.
It is, and quite a few of them will be bowled by this gentleman, Mr. Amar Verdi, who's going to get us started with his off breaks, coming in over the wicket to Colin Ackerman with the first ball after lunch, and he's forward and he's just prodding this one down into the leg side, and there is no run. So Ackerman 12, Azad 52 as Amar Verdi is in and Ackerman is forward and plays this one down into the leg side.
So 2 results already today. Hampshire have beaten Middlesex and Essex have beaten Durham.
It's quite a comeback from the champions, that, to beat Durham. Gloucestershire have won as well, I think.
Have they won already?
Yep, as here is Verdi, and this is turned by Ackerman straight back up the pitch. I think Gloucestershire are 2 in 2
by 8
now.
wickets. Yep. So that's our group.
Very good. Beat Surrey last week, beaten Somerset this week. Very good start from Gloucestershire. Verdi in once more to Ackerman, and Ackerman forward. He comes, the right hander, just pushes out towards Hashim Amla, stood up there at mid-off, and out there in the wild blue yonder, all on his own, is Craig Overton. Miles away he is.
You sound Craig as well now.
Jamie, sorry. There's a quicker ball here from Verdi, and this is turned leg side by Ackerman out there to Kemar Roach. They'll pick up another single, 1 more to the total, 1 more to Ackerman. He moves on to 13. Leicestershire 98 for 2. As Azad will come on to strike for the first time after lunch, take his guard. Field will be a slipper, leg slipper, short leg, and then 2 catches at cover for the left-handed Azad. Kemar Roach is at a deepish backward point. Amar Verdi bounces in round the wicket to Azad, and Azad covers up, pushes away down towards Kemar Roach at backward point. End of the over, single off the first over after lunch, and Leicestershire are 98 for 2.
Ackerman 37 and 5 in the first game against Hampshire. He was pretty much run out by his partner in the first innings of that game when he was going fairly nicely. So he'll feel, I think, Colin Ackerman, that this is a real opportunity on a good pitch, not under any sort of pressure to score runs at all quickly. So can he basically just play through the session, save his side? He's looking around at the moment. He can see a slip, he can see a leg slip, 2 short mid wickets where there were 4 previously. Otherwise, reasonably conventional field for once from Rory Burns. Roach is in and bowls to him, and he clips him nicely off his legs down towards Verdi, who's at a deep backward square. Well, he is now. When he picks up the ball, he was actually at sort of long leg. So a single to Ackerman. He moves on to 14.99 for 2. The lead now less than 200. 198. That's, remember, on first innings. Surrey have the option, should they need it, of batting again. Partnership 17 now. Azad also looks around to see 2 short mid-wickets. Indeed, 3 really. They will go close together because Hashim Amla has come in as well. Round the wicket comes Roach to the left-hander. Bowls full, clipped in the air momentarily, just for a very short moment, and then along the ground it rolls to Stoneman. Is he the first of the?
Yes, he is.
Who fell to his right to make the stop?
Yes, Stoneman, and then Jamie Smith in his helmet in the middle, and then Hashim Amla are the 3 in there. They had 4 before lunch. Now gone down to 3, although the 4 were for the right-hander, so just the 3 for the left-hander.
In comes Roach and bowls, and neatly turned by Hassan Azad off middle and leg down towards wide long leg. Takes the single, moves on to 53. He's been there obviously since the start. Hassan Azad, he's faced 126 balls now. Made a 50 in the first innings as well, but a 50 probably won't save the game. 100 might, if it's at the similar sort of rate, go a long way towards doing it. Roach back over the wicket to the right-handed Ackerman. Bowls. Ackerman stands up tall and strokes it defensively out into the offside. Amla moves across to his left at mid-off. Makes the stop. There's no run. Driller stopped. Hurrah!
Surrey sort of said to themselves at lunchtime, remember what happened in the first innings, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
That collapse of 7 wickets. So, you know, I suppose it could happen again. It is the last day.
Roach in. Bowls full onto the leg stump of Ackerman. Dug out, rather. Puff of dust. Plays it along the ground to Jamie Smith is the nearest, because he's under the helmet and he's got the pads on. It makes him a recognisable figure. He's been at short leg throughout much of the game, really, when Leicestershire have been batting, obviously.
Well, I think Ollie Pope's quite enjoying having a break from that, because
Yes.
he's done it most of the winter, hasn't he?
He has. 100 for 2, the Foxes, as Roach in. Bowls very straight. Amla. Ackerman even plays it straight back down the wicket. It hits the leg stump. Ricochets off towards mid-on. For a moment, Ackerman thinks, oh, might be a run there. There wasn't quite, as Fielder got back to save it. End of the over. 100 for 2. Ackerman 14. Azad 53. Overs remaining to be bowled, if it works out exactly, by which I mean obviously remember there's the hour and it can get more into the final hour, but theoretically it's 70.
And it'll be Amar Birdie to continue down below us from the Vauxhall end. Not much wind today, and we've now got some sort of light cloud above us as well in the blue sky, but it does seem that the cricket weather has arrived finally, which is rather nice. As round the wicket comes Amar Birdie and tosses this up to the left-handed Azad, who drives in there to extra cover. The thing is, this is still a very good pitch to bat on.
We haven't lost much cricket so far this season. We lost a few overs on one of the days against Hampshire, but not enough to make a difference to the game.
As Birdie skips in once again to Azad, and Azad covers up. We lost on days 1, 2 and 3 the whole of the final sessions at Bristol. We had a hailstorm, bad light.
Some places had snow, didn't they? Blankets of snow.
Yep, snow at Headingley. Got away with that. We didn't get snow, but as Verdi's in round the wicket again, and Hassan Azad, it was just through the hands of Jamie Smith in there at short leg. He anticipated the shot because Hassan Azad came down the pitch and flicked it leg side, and Jamie Smith went to his right. So it was either going to be one of those stunners that stuck. It was great anticipation from Jamie Smith, but as it is, it went past those hands. And Azad picks up a single, moves on to 54. It's 101 for 2 now as Verdi is in and Ackerman forward. Thickish edge, inside edge, down into the ground. Rolls in there to Jamie Smith at short leg. And there is no run.
Azad 27 and 18 against Hampshire. 27, a controversial ending to that innings.
In over the wicket again comes Verdi, and this one's pushed by Ackerman out into the offside. Verdi bowled one absolute beauty to Ackerman before lunch. It just went past his outside edge. So he'll be looking to do the same here. Amar Verdi. As here he comes once again. And Ackerman drives. Nice shot, wristily played to get that past Hashim Amla and down to the long off boundary rope and away for 4. You probably heard that bouncing into the concrete down below us and the boundary boards, but lovely wrists these from Ackerman to get that past Hashim Amla at mid-off. End of the over, 105 for 2. Ackerman's on to 18. Azad has 54 and the partnership is worth 23.
Yeah, they need to be scoring off Verdi if they possibly can in that way, just to not just let him surround the bat with fielders and having to have a little bit of cover. Leaning on his bat, Ackerman, watching as Azad waits for whatever the field is going to be this time round. We are going to have the 3 men, but they're kind of not going to be at mid-wicket. They're starting at square leg this time. They're like a little chorus, aren't they? In goes Roach and bowls onto the legs of Azad, who just turns his wrists on the defensive shot and guides it calmly, serenely almost down to deep backwards square and takes 1.
Well, it shows the good nature of this pitch that Rory Burns is having to come up with. They call them funky fields. This isn't a funky field. This is basically trying to manufacture a wicket as much as anything. It makes perfect sense what he's up to at the moment.
Roach over the wicket to Ackerman. Bowls a bouncer. Ackerman just ducks underneath it and umpire Lloyd signals no ball. I actually heard him call it. Sometimes they don't these days. The arm just comes out, but there was actually a call of no ball.
Well, in test matches now, the third umpire's watching from the box, isn't he? They don't miss anything in test matches anymore. Of course, you've got the old replays as well. You can go upstairs for the replay.
And the 3 compadres are reunited at mid-wicket. Smith, Stoneman, Overton, as Roach is in again to Ackerman short. Just outside off stump, but he rides the ball well there. Ackerman got up on his toes and just dropped it down towards point. There's no run.
Ollie Pope down there on his own. Got nobody really to talk to. There's a photographer up there. I think he's just shouting up to the photographer at the moment. In his sunglasses is Ollie Pope.
He shed his sweater as well. That's a good sign, temperature-wise.
It is warm when you're down in the sun.
Roach in. Ackerman gets another bounce so that he just bobs underneath, having to bang it in pretty short is Roach at the moment. There was a brilliant little film on the Surrey stream during the interval of some of the great sadly not teacups at the Oval, some of the great games and what have you, but I was struck by, I know it's obviously black and white, but even so there's almost no difference in terms of the shade of the pitch compared to the outfield in a lot of them. You would not get that. You just wonder about the quality of the pitches sometimes. In goes Roach, bowls onto the legs of Ackerman, clipped away neatly down towards Verdi, who has to run a few feet to get to the ball. Across to his right, always going to be obviously a comfortable single. And Ackerman moves on to 19, but yeah. Well, they obviously weren't covered, were they?
No.
I mean, it was so...
Well, you watched some of that footage, and well, there was the Derek Underwood spell, wasn't there, against Australia? It was sawdust all over the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable, really.
They would not have gone back out in, I think, the quote-unquote modern era. Now then, 4 fairly close to each other on the offside now. The 3 compadres plus a gully on the leg side, sorry, but it's played through mid-on very straight by Azad. It was full. It's going to run away too long on for 4. So again, almost every ball Burns is trying something. Thoughts going through his head, just trying, I think, as much as anything, just to get in the batsman's head. But Ackerman and Azad, probably of the Leicestershire players, the 2 most unlikely to be affected in those terms. Ackerman hugely experienced, relatively hugely experienced, and Azad, just because of that, the sort of person he is. Round the wicket comes Roach and bowls again to him. He's forward. It's another no ball, and Roach turns in disappointment. Then he puts his hands out. Can it have been? Was it? We can see he looks to be landing on almost the same spot when he comes round the wicket, and he just measures it. But yes, you did, says umpire Lloyd. So becoming a longer over. 2 no balls in it so far. 115 for 2. Azad 59. Ackerman 19. Leg slip. Short, squarish leg. In goes Roach, bowls, and it's turned down in the air towards fine leg for 4, but it was in the air. Had leg gully been at leg slip, might just have been in the game there, you know, Kirchie.
Yeah, he might have been. I don't think Surrey will mind too much in the fact that actually, yeah, it's 4 runs, but he's playing a shot. That's the key thing here. He is playing a shot, is Hassan Azad. He's not just sort of dropping it into the leg side. He's actually playing a shot at that, so it's uppish. But Surrey are going to have to create something here, because this pitch, really nothing's happening at all. And always thought today it would be very hard work from what we've seen in the game. You don't play a game where 3-7-5 plays 6-7-2 for 8 going into the final morning, and 21 without loss after 17, without thinking to yourself, well, I'll be surprised if it does a load on the last day. So Surrey are going to have to really work and come up with some magic or something to take these wickets, as Amar Verdi is into Ackerman, and Ackerman is forward and pushing this one down into the leg side, and there's no run. And I think that would have been the thing Leicestershire was saying is, you know, if we could pick a pitch to try and bat out the last day, it would be this one. As here is Verdi once again. That's quicker. Oh, it's chipped in the air by Ackerman. Ooh, it was straight down towards Jordan Clark at a deepish mid-on. But at least he played it straight. That was the key thing. Played it straight back down the ground, because of course the reason he's doing that is he doesn't want to go in towards mid-wicket, because there are those 2 catches. But by having those 2 there, it made him change his shot. And he almost chipped that back to Amar Verdi. Verdi's in again, and Ackerman's forward. So it sounds a strange thing to say, because Surrey didn't take a wicket. But the thing that's done, those 2 men in there at short mid-wicket have made Ackerman play it slightly differently, play it with a straight bat, and he almost chipped it back to the bowler there. The captain, as Verdi's in again to him, and this one he's turning leg side, and there's no run. No ball from Amar Verdi. Does bowl a few of those. There's Amar Verdi. 2 more to the total. 2 more towards that 176 more required Leicestershire. It's Verdi. Little skip again, and then bounces in over the wicket, and Ackerman chips this one into the turf and up again, and Verdi does the fielding off his own bowling. He's getting a bit of loop here, is Amar Verdi at the moment.
He's the bowler against whom Ackerman looks least comfortable, I think, for sure.
Verdi in once again to Ackerman. Ackerman gets across his stumps. That front foot goes outside off stump, and then he's turning that down into the leg side, so should be a little bit careful there. Verdi will at some point try and get that one that just goes on quickly with the arm. As here he comes once again, Verdi to Ackerman, and Ackerman's turning this leg side. It beats the two men in there at mid-wicket and runs away for 4. So the other thing here, of course, is with these close catches is you're going to get value for your shots, and that's nicely played by Ackerman. He's on to 23 out of 43, the partnership, and Leicestershire are 125 for 2. But yeah, attacking fields, you get value for your shots, don't you? You get it past the attacking fields, especially here today with the sun out. Outfield's pretty quick anyway, but with the sun out today, whistled off.
Who's vice captain? Who will take over from Burns
really,
if and when he goes plays for England?
Really good question.
No official VC. Okay.
I would have thought either M. Stoneman or B. Folkes. Whether there is an official, I don't know, but it's normally one of those two that does the job. Stoneman did it last year in the Bob Willis Trophy for a bit when Burns was away, but Folkes has done it as well behind the stump, so it'd be one of those two, I would have thought.
So we've got the 3 short mid-wickets, or arguably 2 short mid-wickets and 1 short in front of square, but they're all very close to each other. As round the wicket goes Roach and bowls to Azad, and it goes past his sort of right armpit as he bounces it towards Leicestershire's left-handed opener, who just sort of steps slightly inside the line and allows it to go through behind the stumps to Folkes. Burns still thinking. What's he pointing at this time? Is he telling Amla to go a bit straighter? Did you tell Amla anything, or did you just ask him politely? Would you mind, Hashim?
Yeah.
Roach is in, bowls, and dropped out into the offside off the back foot, and you heard the call of no from Azad as he saw mid-off closing in on the ball. Is that done?
Jordan Clark.
Jordan yes, it is.
Clark.
Yes, it is.
He's thought of something. Can I ask you a technical question, Richard Ray?
As long as you don't expect a competent answer, but yes, by all means.
BBC Radio London would like me to do a 220 update. May I borrow your ISDN?
Of course you
220.
can.
Thank you.
Of course you
sir.
can.
Thank you.
Talking of which, I'm going to go and do my 2 o'clock.
Very good. As round the wicket once again comes Kemar Roach, and this is drilled back up the pitch by Azad. And Roach does the fielding off his own bowling, and there is no run. 172 runs behind at the moment. Leicestershire. Here is Kemar Roach once again. Round the wicket to Azad, bouncer. And ducking underneath it is Azad, and taken by Ben Folkes, moving to his right hand side. 125 for 2. Slip, leg slip. 2 catching at short mid wicket. Kemar Roach coming round the wicket to Azad, and Azad is tucking this one straight into the second of those men in there at short mid wicket, the tall figure of Jamie Overton. Burns and Folkes are having a natter about everything out there at the moment. But yeah, sorry, trying to come up with some sort of plan here to break this partnership, and 8 more wickets to try and find today as Roach is in, and Azad turns leg side again on the angle, and that's taken by Matthew Dunn, moving round to his right hand side. You probably heard the shout there from Ben Folkes of "come on lads." Surrey scamper round, and Amar Verdi to continue from the Vauxhall end of the ground. Colin Ackerman will be the man on strike on 23. 125 for 2 then. Have a leg slip, a slip and a short leg for Colin Ackerman, and then the 2 men catching at mid-wicket will Amar Verdi. Ackerman settles over his bat as Verdi gets ready to come bouncing in over the wicket to Colin Ackerman tosses this right up, and Ackerman's working it through the legs, I think, there of Jamie Smith at short leg, and they'll take a single. That'll be one more to the total. Ackerman moves on to 24, 126 for 2. Emma Birdie with the left-hander. Those two men have stayed where they were, but they're now at cover. So two men catching in the covers. As Birdie skips in round the wicket to Azad, and Azad forward he goes, studiously again. Head right over the ball, full face of the bat, soft hands, just prodding it straight back up the pitch to Amar Verdi. Verdi ready once more. Bounces in round the wicket to Azad, quicker, and Azad's just nudging this one into the leg side this time. Round goes Hashim Amla to his left to do the fielding, and they will pick up another single, and that will bring Colin Ackerman on to strike on 24. The partnership worth 45 after Dearden was out LBW first ball to Jordan Clark. 82 for 2 that was, as Birdie's in and Ackerman's pushing off the back foot. Will take a single. Will Colin Ackerman, one more to him and one more to the total. Ackerman moves on to 25, 128 for 2 Leicestershire. So no alarms at all again after lunch for Ackerman and Azad. Azad just waits for Ollie Pope to get into his catching position in there. He's doing a short mid-wicket catching position now in his helmet, is Ollie Pope, as Amar Verdi is round the wicket to Azad, and that's short, and that's cut by Azad down towards Kemar Roach at backward point, and there is no run. I think that the workmen on one oval square doing the building work, I think they've stopped for the day now.
Just the morning.
Yes,
just the morning.
Morning session, having the Sunday afternoon off, understandably, as Verdi is in and Azad is forward, playing this one back down the pitch. End of the over, 128 for 2, Ackerman 25, Azad 64. I think we'll be having a bit of a hand sanitisation in a moment.
That gives me time to tell you, our studios are putting us under a bit of pressure for a quick single, because my next one is going to be, because of the football, is going to be at 225. So we'll be fine on 220, but
I can't guarantee that BBC Radio London will be ready at 220. So I will tell them I'll do it on the phone. That's much more sensible. Yeah, absolutely, because they'll be rambling on at half time, won't they? So,
the Arsenal playing, aren't they?
Yeah, so I'll let them know it'll have to be on the phone. Not a problem at all. But yeah, I'd rather do it that way round.
Azad 55 in the first innings, 64 now in the second. This is, as I say, very much the key partnership. Jamie Overton even is going to come back and try and break it for Surrey, and he's going to try and do so with one of Rory Burns' arguably less funky fields, but still funky-ish. There's a leg slip, a short leg and a short mid-wicket as Overton comes in and bowls to Ackerman, who drives pleasantly down the wicket, and it's hurled back at him by Overton, who took it nicely two-handed in his follow-through, hurled it back head height more or less, and Ackerman did have to actually duck there to avoid taking one on the bonds, or did duck, might not just have hit him, but now he raises his hand, Jamie Overton, I think, and just a word of perhaps apology. Down the, well, I was going to say slope, but there isn't really a slope here. Down he comes and bowls down from the pavilion end, and Ackerman, back foot, solid defensive shot back down the wicket. On the on-side, Amla is the fielder, and there's no run. 128 for 2.
It's almost as if this pitch is getting better at the moment. You look at the scores.
It's not deteriorating, is it? That's for sure.
But you look at the scores. It's It's almost as if it's getting better.
There hasn't been any turn for any of the spinners throughout the game, but Verdi today has had to rely on some beautiful flight. In goes Overton. Bowles dropped out into the offside off the back foot by Ackerman. Only one man in front of square on the offside. He's at mid-off, so a comfortable single for Ackerman. He moves on to 26, 129 for 2. The fact that Leicestershire trail by 168 probably isn't sort of too relevant, really. It's the overs, because even if they were to get somehow or another 100 ahead, Surrey would go for it with, you know, 10 overs, 8 overs, whatever it took, or however much was left. They'd try and knock them off. So just passing the Surrey first innings score, almost only half the job as far as Leicestershire are concerned. A lone magpie, alas, flies across the ground as round the wicket comes Overton and bowls to Azad on off stump. Azad just slightly angled back just outside off stump, steers it down to Verdi at third man and jogs a single. What's umpire Pollard holding his finger up in the air? I'm not quite sure. Don't think it was a noble. I'm sure it wasn't. 130 for 2. One for Sorrow, isn't it? Where's T'other?
The thing with that as well is that the rate they're going at the moment, even if they bat these 64 overs at this rate, they're still not going to be
they're not
near
getting
that 167 anyway. So
no. Back over the wicket comes Overton. Bowls to Ackerman, middle and leg, turned towards mid-wicket, but not with any great force, and Amla gets across, cuts it off, moving across from mid-on to wide mid-on. Dot ball, very quiet out there at the moment, relatively quiet. Are they a talkative side, these Surrey boys, or?
Yeah, I think so, as much as any of them are, really.
Yeah.
I think in these situations, you know, it is a case of somebody somewhere geeing everybody up.
Yeah. It's usually the wicket keeper, isn't it, get sort of chuntering away. In goes Overton. Bowls again, dropped out into the offside, but behind square on the offside this time by Ackerman, and Burns can, as it bounced into the air, get across and make sure that Colin Ackerman doesn't pick up a cheeky single. End of the over. 130 for 2. Azad 65 will be on strike. Ackerman has 26. The two have a little conversation in mid-pitch before touching gloves. Then Azad jogs, kicking up his heels rather, to get his legs moving as he walks down to the striker's end.
Yeah, and he's played very well here, Hassan Azad. What he wants to do is be there at 5 o'clock.
I'm glad he is against, again, I'm using the term first division attack, because obviously he made all these runs sort of in the second division, but we think he's kind of is a bit better than that, and it's good.
As Verdi, in round the wicket he comes to Azad, and Azad is forward. But as I say, on the last day it's never easy, but if you wanted a pitch on the last day, you'd sort of roll this one up as a side trying to bat a day out. As Azad waits once more. Amar Verdi wheeling away from this Vauxhall end. Round the wicket he comes again to Azad, and this is tucked by Azad. Tries to catch it, but it's past Jamie Smith in there at short leg. And they'll get a single as Jamie Overton comes up to do the fielding. One more to the total. Again, it's sort of what we were saying on the first day. Surrey need either a moment of brilliance or a massive mistake to just open the gate up a touch. And obviously Ackerman and Azad are so aware of that. The last thing they want to do is give Surrey a wicket. As Verdi is in over the wicket, and this is turned off the stumps by Ackerman. Down there to Jamie Smith at short leg. All about sort of powers of concentration, this, as much as anything.
Where does the opposition flag fly? On top of the pavilion? Leicestershire do have a flag. I don't wonder if they've brought it, or...
Well, it's not up there.
No.
It's just been the Surrey flag in the middle flag pole. As round the wicket comes Verdi now to Ackerman, and Ackerman is forward, pushing this one back up the pitch. So yes, it's just the Surrey flag on that pavilion roof, the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion. 3 flagpoles there. As round the wicket once again comes Verdi, and that one is getting Ackerman just covering up a touch. Nicely bowled by Amar Verdi. So yes, just the Surrey flag, but it's not really moving today.
No, a bit limp.
Yep.
No, wind has finally gone. Hurrah, hurrah.
He's in again, Verdi. That's very short, and that's tucked away by Ackerman. Out towards Kemar Roach at deep backward square. They'll take the single, and that'll be one more to Ackerman. He's keeping the strike. He's on to 26 and 132 for 2. Leicestershire. Ackerman 27, Azad 66.
The route around this morning, again, obviously skirting around the power station development. But when I say development, it's almost a city in itself, isn't it? Lord knows how many apartments, flats they've got into that space, but I would say thousands, frankly. Thousands. It is rammed. Overton in from the pavilion end, bowls to Ackerman in the air. He turns it away behind square on the leg side for a second. Jamie Smith thinks he might be in the game at square leg, puts out his right hand. It's nowhere near it, in fact, but again Ackerman turning the ball in the air. He picked up one, rehearses a shot at the other end, but little touch of encouragement for Surrey and for Overton.
Well, yes, I think anything at the moment from a Surrey point of view that's in the air is of great excitement. Very solid start this after the lunch break by Messrs Ackerman and Azad.
62.5 overs left in the day, or thereabouts. Might be a few more than that. Round the wicket comes Overton to Azad. Full toss and steered out square on the offside. Verdi's going to sprint up from third man to get to the ball on the deep point boundary. Gets his throw away. He's got a good arm as Amar Verdi. He's a good cricketer. Well, I haven't seen him bat yet. He hasn't had to have a bat. Can he? I bet he can as well, probably.
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
I think he's got some talent, but it's a work in progress, I think.
A couple then for Azad. Moves on to 68. Still got the 2 short mid wickets in and the leg slip. Rory Burns, he himself is at sort of second slip. There isn't a first. Overton in bowls and pushed away towards backward point off the back foot by Azad. Burns follows the ball as it runs towards Verdi, but Verdi is the man who gets there first, so a single one way or t'other. Accrues to Azad. He moves on to 69. 136 for 2. The Drillers. He's had his lunch.
He's had his lunch.
He's back.
There aren't many workmen up there, are there? But I can see one now, just on the roof of the new sort of conference facility in One Oval Square.
Overton goes back over to the right-hander. Ackerman in, bowls a very short bounce so that it's taken around about shin high by folks because it loops high, and he's falling as it descends to the gloves of folks, who has a word with Pope, who's been then in there at leg slip. Burns has his hands on his hips, but all three actually, folks, Burns and none of them have sweaters on. He bowls Overton, slightly short of a good length. He gives it everything, Overton. Ackerman up on his toes, just playing it calmly down into the offside.
Yeah, he really does, doesn't he, Jamie Overton? Every ball is a big event, really. He charges in.
His commitment, as they say, is total. You can almost see why he's had 1 or 2 injuries over the years, because the whole body goes into it. Everything. He gives it. Turns at the top of about 22-yard run. Maybe 1 or 2 yards more. In he goes, bowls to Ackerman outside off stump, and again, although it's a reasonable length ball, it's a little bit too wide, but again it sort of dies into the gloves of folks, and if anything, the pitch is is just looks as though it may be beginning to die a little bit. The ball is, well, theoretically, 51 overs old. It was changed after 34.1, so we can only say approximately 50 overs old. But really doesn't look to be much life out there for the likes of Overton, who's stalking rather out towards the deep square boundary.
Yeah, it must be a little bit soul destroying, I would have thought. Amar Verdi to continue to come round the wicket then, and Hassan Azad turns this one down into the leg side, and that's going to roll in there towards Ollie Pope at short mid wicket, and there is no run. Just keeping an eye on my phone, if that's okay.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Then I'll run outside. As here comes Verdi once again. Azad is forward, playing this one down into the leg side. Oohs and ahs, there's going to need to be a bit of that just to make Azad think, have I missed something here?
Never used to bother Callie that, did he? He used to just do them on the phone.
Yeah, well, while he was on air, yeah, bless him.
Was.
What a man. What a man.
He had so many to do, I think he thought, oh, heck, whatever.
Dave Callaghan, what a man. As waiting once again is Azad. Round the wicket goes Verdi to him, tosses this one up, and Azad, it was a tempter to have a little drive at that, but Azad wasn't tempted. He just pushed it back up the pitch very neatly and tidily. Really did toss that one up a touch more. Amar Verdi, nicely bowled by Verdi, but very nicely played as well by Azad. Ollie Pope, I think, had forgotten his box, so he's just had one brought out to him to go in there at a second short leg, really. Ah, there's the phone, Mr. Ray.
In goes Verdi and bowls. Azad is turning it towards Pope. In fact, it actually goes to Smith, who's the squarer of the two short legs. So it's Smith who does the fielding. And there is no run. Azad remains 69. Verdi, a little hop, and in he goes. And bowls. Azad uses his feet and squirts it out. Well, there's a bit of hesitation. He has sent back by Ackerman in the end as Pope scrambled back and got to the ball. It went between the two sort of short legs, and Azad, seeing that, thought there might be a single in it. There wasn't. He was sent back, and he had taken a couple of steps down, so almost a mix-up between he and Ackerman. Verdi in bowls, a little bit short on that occasion. Azad went back, but it wasn't quite short enough to sort of pull, and it was a bit too straight, so he just jabbed it out rather as much as anything into the onside. Azad down towards Amla at mid-on, and it is the end of the over. 61 left to be bowled today. That's the equation, really. 8 wickets for Surrey, 61 overs for Leicestershire to survive. A lot of overs. They trail by 161 on first innings, but as Churchy's been saying, that's unlikely to be relevant, really. Right, what Burns, what is he going to do to his field this time round? He's got a short backward square, almost well, leg gully Ollie Pope has gone in at, as Overton is in and bowling down the leg side. Ackerman lifts his bat out of the way. So there's Pope at leg gully, Smith at short square. He's not at short leg, he's 1, 2, 3 pitches back now, because Ackerman might just clip it firmly. He's there for the sort of clip in the air. So you're going to have to be alert, and there is also a short-ish mid-wicket, also 3 pitches back. In goes Overton, bowls on off stump, forward goes Ackerman, playing it carefully and gently out into the off side. Stoneman's a fielder at mid-off, runs across and fields, and there's no run. Roach is grazing out on the point boundary. Burns himself is at first slip. Amla is at mid-on. Clark at deep square. Verdi at long leg. Overton in, good bouncer, but well played by Ackerman, who just went down on one knee, on his right knee, and leant away from the ball, but sort of watched it as it sailed over him, around about where his head would have been had he still been standing. 136 for 2. Ackerman 28, Azad 69. Overton turns. He's ready to go. Looked like Ackerman was, but Overton actually he's changed his mind. He said he started to run in, then said, "No, I'm going to go round the wicket." So he's gone across to round the wicket, and immediately Pope goes in at leg slip. In goes Overton, bowls to Ackerman on off stump, played firmly down into the ground. It bounces up, is taken by Overton in his follow through, and there's no run. My update's coming up in about a minute's time, but I'm on my own. Hamlet and Stoneman having a word at mid-on and mid-off, as Overton sort of walks between them, turns. Staying around the wicket, comes in, bowls to Ackerman, who plays him off stump out into the offside. Roach comes in from deep point, and a single is jogged.
And Richard Ray is off next door to do his update for BBC Radio Leicester. 137 for 2 then. And Jamie Overton marches off back towards the pavilion. And settling himself down over his bat is the left-handed Azad. A little photo there of Adam Hollyoak with Sean Abbott, who of course is coming to Surrey on the Surrey live stream. That tweet, I think, as round the wicket then comes Jamie Overton, and forward comes Azad and pushes this one out into the offside. End of another over, but not a huge amount going on out there at the moment. Surrey desperately trying to make a breakthrough here, and as I say, it's going to probably need a moment of genius from someone, or a horrible mistake from either Ackerman or Azad to open the door for the home side. But Azad and Ackerman playing very well at the moment on a pitch that, as I say, on a last day you'd fancy this, trying to save the game. And of course there are 8 points for the draw now, so there's plenty of initiative and reward for a drawn game this year. As over the wicket then comes Amar Verdi to Ackerman, and Ackerman drives up towards mid-off. There's Hashim Amla moving round to his left-hand side. Well, the options for Rory Burns, Matthew Dunn, Jordan Clark. Kemar Roach is out there at deep backward square. Verdi, over the wicket he comes, and Ackerman just nudges this one into the leg side. And again, there is no run. You can hear Ben Folkes there just trying to get something happening out there in the middle for Surrey. Be the same for any side in this situation. As Verdi is in and Ackerman is forward and just pushing this one out towards the covers. Ben Folkes goes jogging out to retrieve the ball. Lovely day still here in South London as Verdi is in, Ackerman is forward and covering up again, pushing this one back down the pitch. Mark Stoneman does the fielding. Oh, the drill's out again, so we're getting some drilling again. Amar Verdi bounces in over the wicket, and this one again pushed by Ackerman straight back up the pitch off the back foot. Verdi bends down and picks up. Ackerman wanders off towards square leg, and then he'll wait again. Colin Ackerman with that Bat raised as he's whipping this one from Verdi, leg side. Matthew Dunn comes round to do the fielding, and there is no run, so another tidy over from Amar Verdi, but no alarms at all here for Leicestershire at the moment, and they're doing a good job, these two. Surrey will be slightly concerned. I think it's what they expected, but as I say, I think this pitch is getting better. 1-3-7 for 2, and Surrey in a bit of a huddle down there. Richard Ray is back alongside.
That was very hectic, wasn't it? But we managed to get our updates in, and now they've started to kick something. Oh, they're not leather, these rugby and footballs these days, are they? So I'm good until 10-4 now.
Excellent. Well done, sir. Well done, well done. What's the first of those events this afternoon? The rugby,
it's Leicester Tigers versus Bath at Welford Road. The stadium, as you'll see as you may recall from your last visit to Grace Road, when you look back from the commentary box at the cricket ground, you can see both the football and rugby stadium very close to each other in Leicester city centre, essentially, very close to the centre, whereas the cricket ground, the Upton Steel County Ground, Grace Road, is about a mile to the south of the centre in Aylstone. Little geography lesson. Should you not have visited Grace Road for Surrey spectators? Well, a fair few have probably made the trip at one time or another. Overton's going to continue from the pavilion end. He's going to be bowling to Azad with, as ever, changes to the field. Leg gully stroke slip is Pope as Overton comes in, bowls to Azad just outside off stump. Azad gets up on his toes, rides it away, pushes it away along the ground out towards backward, deepish backward point. Verdi comes in off the field, off the ropes. The Leicestershire coaching staff and some of the players are wandering around. I can see Harry Dearden and Gavin Griffiths flanking Dips Patel, who is sort of now involved with the first team, was initially with the academy, or was for many years with the academy. Tom Smith is with them. I'm always hopeful they stop by the effects mic so we can pick up a little bit of gossip, but alas they don't. In goes Overton, bowls a very high loopy bounce that actually bounces a second time before it gets to folks behind the stumps.
And I think Overton's reaction to that sums it up, really. It was like, oh, bang that one in, and it's bounced once before it's got to Ben Folks. So there is not a huge amount going on out there at the moment, which from a Leicestershire point of view is terrific. And as I say, these two will not want to do anything silly now. They've done it perfectly so far.
We should of course say that there will be a second new ball, and that Surrey will have plenty of overs with it. Around about just after tea, I would think. Overton is in another bounce, a bit better in that it wasn't quite as short, and again played well by Ackman, ducked underneath it, and it was taken on the full this time by folks, albeit pretty low down. 54.3 overs have been bowled with this ball or its equivalent, so another 25.5. Yeah, it'll be after tea now obviously, but there will be that second new ball, and that can make a real difference. In comes Overton, trying to make a difference with the old ball. Bowls a slower ball and had to wait for that one. Ackerman played it well. Off the back foot, back down the wicket. Overton's hands started to go into the air. I suspect Overton almost sort of... He's one of those bowlers who expects to take a wicket with every ball, which is, of course, absolutely right. His hands started to go into the air. Ackerman played it well enough. He's on 29, Azad has 70. Actually, I haven't looked at Twitter for a while. I missed a load of tweets earlier this morning. Apologies about that. That was because of my sort of computer and the Wi-Fi. In goes Overton, bowls. What happened there? It came out of his hand and it flew high. It's a no ball anyway. That was curious.
Yeah, he lost his footing as he was letting it go, Jamie Overton. It was one of those, I think, that sort of, it was so short, it came out of his hand all wrong. Just looped straight over the batsman.
It was not reachable, as they say, by the batsman. It was so signalled by umpire Pollard. 140 for 2. Trying so hard, Overton here, trying to make something happen, almost by force of character as much as anything. In he charges, bowls, and Ackerman just turns his wrists on his defensive shot. Again, he's staying on the back foot. Along the ground it goes, up the onside, and there's no run. Well, they're amusing themselves, Leicestershire supporters, talking about selection for the third game. We'll let them get on with it, basically. $140 for 2. Ackerman 29, Azad 70. Different sort of selection problems to those of the Surrey. I was going to say selection panel, but does the captain have the final word? 10-2 or?
I've got no idea, to be honest. Absolutely no idea.
Overton is in, bowling onto the legs of Ackerman, who turns it calmly towards Smith, who's that 3 pitches back at short square leg rather than short leg, and he feels comfortably enough. End of the over, and now he's not stalking back Overton to his fielding position. He does now look a touch weary, trying to flog something out of the pitch.
Yeah, it's hard work for the quicks, this, it really is. Jordan Clark's looking like he's sort of beginning to loosen up. Yeah, there he goes through his bowling action.
He's the man. 2 for 7 from 5 overs.
Yep, 2 in 2 balls from Jordan Clark this morning. And Amar Verdi to continue from the Vauxhall end of the ground, and Azad on strike on 70. As there's a slip and 2 men catching a short leg. 2 catching in the covers. Here is Verdi to Azad. Forward he goes and pushes this one out into the offside, and there's no run. I think probably it would be the captain, wouldn't it? I suppose, just with a bit of consultation.
I think Leicestershire's is a sort of something of a sort of collective decision between the coaching staff, obviously led by Nixon and Ackerman. Whether Ackerman sort of has the final word. I think the squad is let's say a 13-man squad for the match day is probably sort of Nixonian.
As round the wicket comes Amar Verdi, and this one's turned leg side, and there's no run. I think sort of every coach is different, aren't they, really? I think whoever's in charge has a way of doing it, but I'd have thought it's sort of the coaching staff with a bit of input from the captain who picks the squad, and then on the day it's the skipper who sort of says, actually, do you know what, I'm on this one, and this one, please. As here is Verdi. Oh, little leading edge from Hassan Azad as he's looking to flick that one leg side, and it actually rolls down towards Kemar Roach at backward point.
Yeah, I suppose the problem is if they ever get to the stage where the captain says, I want X, and the coach says, no, it's going to be Y, so what happens then?
I think the coach leaves as here comes Verdi, and this one's left alone outside his off stump.
Something has to give.
One of them's done by the end of the season, as we've seen over the years. I think you have to have that relationship that works between the two of you. As he waits again, does Hassan Azad. As round the wicket once again goes Verdi to him, and he's turning this off the stumps neatly and tidily, though out towards deep mid wicket. Jamie Overton is up to do the fielding, and they'll pick up one more. Yeah, this is going to need a bit of drama at some point, I think, for anything to happen. And genuinely on this pitch, I think it's going to need something sensational from a bowler from somewhere, really.
Has Mark been out to get the scones?
As Verdi is over the wicket to Ackerman, and Ackerman is forward and pushes this one down in front of him. Ollie Pope's very close in there at Silly Point, and there is no run. Ackerman 29, Azad 71, still trailing by 156 Leicestershire, and there are 57 overs left, a minimum of today.
That's the other thing. Another thing we're missing at the Upton Steel County Ground, Grace Road, is not just the Charles Palmer restaurant, but the Friends of Grace Road. That in the last 2, 3, 4 years, that the cakes have been just extraordinary. Sensational selection of homemade cakes, of coffee and walnut, chocolate, fruit cakes, Victoria sponges, the absolute works. So much so that I would have to say it is now even better than the ladies' pavilion at Worcester in terms of the cakes that are on offer in the meat, or that were on offer in the meat.
Sounds very nice.
Oh, those days will come again. Those days will come back. I'm jabbering on because Rory Burns is again changing his field.
He's changed his bowler as well.
Yes.
Jordan Clark's back into the attack.
He's the golden arm of Jordan Clark. Clark for England. Was that Fango, reckon, down in Melbourne, starting a new campaign. Along with Stevens for England, Clark for England. Round the wicket comes Jordan Clark, still with the 2 short mid-wickets. In he comes and bowls. Fullish, waiting for it is Azad, playing it back down the pitch. A very mellow sound from the bat, echoed like the chiming, deep chime of a bell almost. Big from St Stephen's over the river in Westminster. Clark is in, bowls down the leg side, swings away down there, taken by Folkes. Azad semi-interested in trying to help it on its way, didn't get anything on it. And then Azad steps away to short leg and does some very vigorous loosening up exercises. Up and down on his haunches he goes. 141 for 2, 71 to him. 56.2 overs in the innings, 56.4 to be bowled today. But there were 17 yesterday, remember, as well. In goes Clark and bowls. Just waited for that one, Azad, and dabbed it down through the vacant gully, down towards third man, where Thirdy is the fielder. On the half volley, Folkes kind of knocks it up in the air, and then he isn't quite sure where it's gone. It lands more or less at his feet. 72 now to Azad. Yeah, sort of game slightly going through the calm before the storm of the new ball, but there is, I say, quite a few overs to be bowled before the new ball, 23 and a half, so I want something to happen ideally before then. So if they can nip 1 or 2 out before the new ball, they'll really feel that they can get into the Leicestershire middle order and tail. Clark in over the wicket to Ackerman, puff of dust from the feet as Leicestershire's captain gets up on his toes and plays it down into the ground on the onside. Is that ambulance or police siren? I don't know how to differentiate between the two, to be honest.
I don't know. Something's going on again. Last night when I left the ground, it
was busy, wasn't it? Really? Did it take you a while to get out?
Oh, it took me 45 minutes to get to the Oval Tube.
Oh.
Yeah, it was absolutely...
no fun.
Absolutely chock-a-block.
Clark is in, bowling, trying to hurry Ackerman on off stump. Ackerman right behind it, back down the wicket to Clark, no run. Yeah, the coach, Leicestershire coach, heading back across the river. They're staying just on the other side of the river. Took ages to get out of the ground,
well,
because I walked past it. Oh, were you? Oh,
yeah. I was stuck behind the coach and then turned left in the car, and I say 45 minutes, a bit of exaggeration, probably half an hour though.
Feels like 45, doesn't it? Yeah. Hopefully that won't be the case tonight. In goes Clark and bowls a bouncer, which again is taken very low down by Folkes. Behind the stumps, once Ackerman has ducked underneath it. End of the over. 142 for 2. Jordan Clark, just a single from the over, but he had having to work hard, the Surrey paceman, to try and find a little bit of life, but there ain't none at the moment.
There's nothing. It's gone absolutely as flat as you like, this. And with the sun out as well, that'll have something to do with it, I'm sure. So Rory Burns and Amar Verdi having another chat about trying to come up with something. And if you do I suppose if Surrey do manage to get these 8 wickets today, they deserve this win for making things happen. Because as I say, you just look at the scores: 375, 672 for 8 declared, and 142 for 2. So it's getting better.
I've got an update on the puppy training class, if you like.
Excellent.
With Norm, who's looking absolutely angelic in the photo. Butter wouldn't melt.
Is Norm the dog or the owner?
No,
again?
Norm is one of 3 Welsh Springer Spaniels owned by Brunty.
Here's Amar Verdi then from the Vauxhall end, coming in over the wicket to Hassan Azad, who's forward and turning this one down into the leg side.
The other 2 are Bertie and Freddie, who have accompanied Martin, who is a very fine triathlete actually, who has also swum the Channel.
Ooh,
as part of a team, but even so.
What an effort that is, as Amar Verdi is in, and Azad, thickish inside edge, pushing forward. He's going to get one. It'll just be a single. Throw comes in over the top of the stumps to Ben Folkes, and Azad will move on to 73, 143 for 2.
Rare are the weekends when Martin isn't sort of running a marathon or swimming huge distances or cycling hundreds of miles. But he has post-marathon legs anyway. Norman dragged him the length of the playground.
Waiting is Ackerman on 29 as Verdi's in. That's leg side. Oh, what a good catch from
off the back
Ben
of the bat.
Folkes, because he's gone to sweep as Ackerman and it's hit the back of his bat, and Ben Folkes, very aware there, has taken it moving to his left. And why it's a good catch is it was all in slow motion. So he's gone to sweep, and I think it's possibly off glove, but it's a good catch from Ben Folkes, and there's the breakthrough that Surrey were desperately looking for, and whatever it hit, Ackerman turned around and walked off. But it's a good catch that from Ben Folkes, and it's Amar Verdi who takes the wicket, makes the breakthrough. Ackerman gone for 29, and it's 143 for 3.
There is an irony there, isn't there? It's probably one of the worst balls that Verdi's bowled, but that's what sometimes happens. He bowls so many good ones, and that one down the leg side, and Ackerman went for the sweep, went on it a little bit too soon. Back of the bat, maybe flicked the glove, sat up quite nicely, but Folkes had anticipated brilliantly, and that's the little bit of luck combined with skill. They worked so hard for that opportunity, sorry. They needed a little bit of fortune, but they were good enough to exploit it, and that's the key. So that is a huge wicket, one feels, in the context of the game. Certainly Ackerman is Leicestershire's class batsman, but his replacement, Lewis Hill, played pretty well in the first innings, and Leicestershire will feel this is far from a done deal quite yet, but that is a big breakthrough.
Yeah, Lewis Hill 70 in the first innings, bowled by Jordan Clark, chopping a ball on. So he's out there in the middle, but that was a very good catch from Ben Folkes.
Was.
And we sort of say that an awful lot about Ben Folkes, but that was a very good catch from Ben Folkes. And Amar Verdi with the breakthrough, 143 for 3.
61 the partnership.
They came together at 82 for 2. So whatever 18 plus 43 is, that's your answer. But with my maths, that could be anything, to be honest with you. So it's going to be...
You didn't do me any favours.
There you go. It's going to be Lewis Hill. If you're going to say that to me, I'm never going to be able to help you out, to be honest with you, Mr. Ray. I'll have to do the maths out loud to get anywhere near it, I'm afraid.
I'm writing it down, -1, carry 9.
10 attempts at GCSE maths.
82 to 143 is 61.
Yeah. 4 men then, round the bat of the right-handed Lewis Hill. Here is Amar Verdi, and the first ball for Hill. Shout for LBW. He's not going to get that because he'll be outside the line, but he's just asking the question because Hill's bat was sort of tucked in behind his pad. So really it's just an inquiry about, is he playing a shot at this, because that bat was a little bit behind that pad, but he's outside the line, and I think, yeah, he is playing a shot. Verdi is in over the wicket to Hill. And Hill turning this one off the stumps. All of a sudden it's a bit livelier out there now, as Dunn comes round to do the fielding. And there is no run. You can hear Ben Folkes shouting away, well, not shouting away, but chuntering away behind the stumps to Amar Verdi. Lewis Hill waits again. Verdi is into him, and Hill drives up towards Hashim Amla, who does the fielding there. And the over from Verdi that brings the wicket for Surrey, and Leicestershire 143 for 3. And Jordan Clark, I think, will continue from the pavilion end with Hassan Azad on 73, and Hill yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, new batsman to bowl at, so everyone's spirits lifted on the bowling side. Each time you think, or each time Leicester might think we're getting ahead of the game here, or attack's starting to get a little bit tired, wicket lifts the bowling side. No end. They're chipping away here, Surrey, and they know that having taken some time to get the first 3 in Leicestershire's first innings, the last 7 came pretty quickly. Here's Jordan Clark round the wicket to Azad, who is even more vital to the Leicestershire cause now. He turns one off his legs and he just gets enough bat on it to persuade Clark to truncate his appeal. He was starting to go up and turn towards umpire Pollard, just a little inside edge as the ball flew down to fine leg. Azad moves on to 74.
Yeah, I suppose what you do if you're Surrey as well, at any point of today, you say, look, fellas, Leicestershire are still behind in the game. Even though today Leicestershire have played really well, you sort of say to yourself, well, we're still ahead of the game here. So it's just sort of reminding yourself as much as anything, isn't it? When there's that sort of after lunch, very quiet, nothing happened, then a wicket goes down, and you look at that scoreboard again, you think there's still quite a bit of work to do here for the visitors. Oh, look, it's the old Surrey square again.
It is. It's almost, it's almost a parallelogram, isn't it?
Is that what that is? That actually
with this man down here?
Yeah. Cool.
In goes Clark and bowls, and Hill is solidly behind it, pushing it to one of the men involved in that square or parallelogram, who I think is Stoneman. He makes the stop. He's at almost silly mid-on. He's a sort of pitch and a half away. In fact, it's Smith, isn't it? He's got his pads on. No, Smith's at short leg, a pitch and a half away, as well as Clark is in and bowling. Hill again behind it. His right foot, his back foot, goes out at an angle of almost 45 degrees as he plays there. Hill almost pushing across the line, rather. Pope is at leg gully. It's almost beyond description, really. There is a short mid-wicket as well.
Looks like dice, doesn't it?
It does. Amla's up there at mid-on. Even Amla's shed his sweater, goodness me. In goes Clark and bowls. Hill solidly behind that one. Times it nicely and it bounces down. And then into the hands of Overton, who is the short mid-wicket of the 4. Didn't quite catch that shout.
Something.com.
It sounded like it, didn't it?
Mm.
That's why I was kind of wondering whether maybe it's a plan of some kind.
Surrey player building their own website.
Clark is in to Hill outside off stump, steps forward, lets it slide through to Folkes.
Yeah, again, it's that whole thing, isn't it, of sort of just reminding yourself where you are in the game. Not a cricket to play today, but they were playing so well, weren't they? Azad and Ackerman, and nothing was happening. So you sort of, I suppose if you're out there in the middle, it's just reminding yourselves that Surrey are still in charge of this.
Clark. Short, energetic run. Good bouncer. Well played by Hill. and Hill just jerked his head out of the way as it whistled through in front of his nose. Good bounce, he bowls a good bouncer, Clark. It gets lift from not too short a length. End of the over, 144 for 3. Hill yet to get off the mark. Azad, the rock as far as Leicestershire concerned, the rock on which they hope their draw will be built. He is 74 not out. 54 overs now left to be bowled.
Yes,
in
indeed.
theory.
And we're seeing the Amal Verdi celebration in slow-mo on the Surrey live stream. Now, as usual, I've always said this with Amar, and you're seeing it on the Surrey live stream. All his teammates
go
are on
one way.
side. He's heading off towards one oval square. Now, he used to sort of basically leave the ground, get the bus, and then end up somewhere near Elephant and Castle, and then have to come back. He sort of doesn't go as far now, as Azad is tucking this one into the leg side from Amal Verdi, and he will pick up a single. And Azad moves on to 75, 145 for 3.
Ackerman will probably feel, I shouldn't have played it. He could have let it go very, very easily. At the same time, it's what we were talking about putting Verdi under a little bit of pressure, trying to score off him. So he just wasn't bowling dot balls all the time.
I think it was the right shot. He just didn't play it very well.
Just went at it a little bit too hard and too soon, perhaps. Might just have bounced more than you expected.
Yes. Here is Verdi to Hill, and that's... Oh, I thought there was a bit of battle glove in that. It hit the pad as well and looped into the leg side, and there was cries of catch it from behind the stumps, because it was sort of... These pads these days, it sometimes looks like it's going to go for 6 off the pad, but it did balloon a long, long way towards Jamie Overton, lurking in there at short mid-wicket as Verdi bounces in once again, comes over the wicket to Hill. Oh, and Hill's playing this off the back foot, doesn't want to miss that. That rolls into Jamie Overton. 145 for 3. Trailing by 152 Leicestershire as Verdi is over the wicket once again to Hill, and Hill pushes this one back off the stumps, down the pitch towards Verdi. Does the fielding again off his own bowling. Into his 21st over now is Amar Verdi, so he's going to bowl a lot of overs today. In over the wicket he comes once again to Hill, and Hill gets forward, plays this one back up the pitch. It must be so much fun being a spinner if you can actually do it.
I was going to say, if you're good, yes.
But if you can, and you are working a plan and trying to work a batsman out, and it comes off, it must be lovely, I'd have thought. As over the wicket once again comes Verdi, and this one's nicely played by Hill. Actually, he's just waited for it and then turned it down into the leg side, neatly and tidily. End of the over, 145 for 3 Leicestershire. Hill yet to get started. And Azad has 75.
Well, good afternoon to Ollie, bless his heart, one of Leicestershire's greatest, most loyal supporters, forever writing to newspapers and things, the local, the Mercury and things like that, saying this is going to be Leicestershire's year, and Paul Nixon building a great squad. Anyway, for the first time, he says he's really following a live streaming game and enjoying it. I look forward to seeing you at a ground soon, Ollie, because he's usually at every game, actually, one way or t'other, home and away. And I think the first time spectators will be admitted to a game involving Leicester this season will be May 19th at the Aegeus Bowl against Hampshire. No cricket going on at the moment because, as ever, Pope is being moved around. He's now at leg slip, 2 short mid-wickets, as round the wicket comes Clark and bowls to Azad, who just calmly as ever drops it out towards point from off stump. Burns comes running out in pursuit, gets there this time before Amar Verdi running in from the wide third man position. Result is the same, a single to Azad. He's on to 76. Hill yet to score. Huge job to do for Lewis Hill to support Hassan Azad. They cannot afford to lose another wicket before tea, the Foxes. I feel. What's that shout all about? Back over the wicket comes Clark. Bowls to Hill, full on leg stump, clipped neatly away through square leg, and I think that's going to be 4. Verdi's putting in the run, can't quite get there. Good effort from Amir Verdi. He sprinted round from wide long leg out towards the deep square boundary, but it was nicely timed, and it was going over the net area, which does not slow the ball down any. There's very little grass out there. The ground staff at the end of each day have been really watering that area, particularly where the tent has been, to make sure it recovers. And I think probably come test match time, it's going to look a picture as ever. In goes Clark and bowls, and Hill again through the leg side, and again it's going to run out, this time to mid wicket for 4. Again the pigeons have to fly away, but 2 rather sweetly timed shots off his legs by Lewis Hill. Consecutive boundaries, nice way to get off the mark.
Yes, lovely shots from Lewis Hill. Very compact player, isn't he, Lewis Hill? And well, as we were saying, he likes batting here. Always makes runs here in the Championship. Lewis Hill, 170 in the first innings, 100 back 6 years ago.
I'm sure that's probably a factor. I'm sure, you know, you might not say so, but it must just lift your confidence, even if it's just 1% or something. And at this level, that makes a difference. Clark with 3 short mid wickets into Hill, who looks to turn it down into the leg side. I think it came probably off the pad because it went quite slowly to Pope. It bounced a couple of times as he went down onto his knees at leg slip and made the stop. Dot ball, 154 for 3.
Well, I was saying Ben Folkes before his 100 at Bristol averaged 304 in Championship cricket and then made 133. So yes, he enjoys batting at Bristol.
Clark is in, bowl driven for 4. Over pitch slightly on off stump. Hill just leant into it and makes it 3 4s in 4 balls. All really nicely hit by Hill. Along the ground all the way, each and every one of them. Taking advantage of Rory Burns' funky fields, if you like, in that it, as Churchill said, it does leave gaps in it. Therefore, if you can find a gap, then you're going to get value for money, and there are more gaps to be found. Jordan Clark is in, bowling to Hill. Better delivery in that it's a better length at any rate in terms of not being able to score off. Hill has to defend on the back foot back past Clark, who is reasonably philosophical at the end of an over in which he's conceded 12 runs. Not really a factor at the moment. Trailing now by 139, Leicestershire. Maybe that they overhaul Surrey's first innings at some stage, but
well, the other thing, of course, with that is it would take
2 overs off, yeah.
Which could be very important, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things.
In the last hour, do you have to? Does that still apply, or do you still have to bowl your 16 overs in the last hour? That's an interesting one.
Yeah,
actually.
That is an interesting one. I think it's 16 in the last hour, isn't it?
So even if there's a change of innings, is there still 16, or does that become 14?
Yes. Well, I suppose it would be if it was. No, if it was 16 in the last hour, and they're still batting Leicestershire, let's say, and then in the second of those they were out, I think that would go down to 13 if they were in.
That's what I mean. So you would still lose those 2.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
fair enough.
Yes. But so obviously, if it was before that, then it would be the 16 in the last hour.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be a factor.
But you can if you suddenly get your spinners on, get through a few more, obviously. Yes, so that's the thing. It's a minimum of 16, isn't it? Yeah, that's what they always say. Minimum of in the last hour. So there we go. 158 for 3. 4 men around the bat of the left-handed Azad, and it's Amir Verdi once again to Azad, who's forward, pushing this one into silly point. So slip, silly point, 2 short legs again. 4 men around the bat of Hassan Azad, who's just looked absolutely level here as Hassan Azad. As in round the wicket goes Verdi, forward goes Azad, and plays this one out into the offside, but sort of personality-wise, this with Hassan Azad, there's sort of no ups, there's no downs. It's just perfectly calm the way he's played this so far. Very, very good player. As Verdi's in once again to him, and oh, now then, what's that hit? Anything? They've gone up for the court behind. Surrey are convinced that it's hit something, and Ben Folkes drops the ball down. A huge appeal. Nice bit of bowling from Amar Verdi, but Surrey convinced there was a bit of a noise there, but not given by umpire Pollard, and Hassan Azad survives on 76. It's 158 for 3.
If there was a noise, it didn't hit anything else. Put it that way.
Big appeal, wasn't it? Everybody went
unless it was bat onto pad, so to speak, that made the noise. But it went past the outside edge.
It was confident, wasn't it? It was a confident appeal as Azad digs this one out. Straight back up the pitch it goes. And there is no run.
I'm not sure there are any sort of walkers per se anymore, but it's kind of a bit like Ackerman Azad. If he knows he hit it, he tends to sort of turn and march.
As in again comes Verdi then to Azad, and Azad tucks this one into the leg side again. Nicely played by Azad. Oh, that's good thinking from Jamie Overton. That's brilliant. He got the throw in very quickly while Azad was just dawdling there and hit the stumps at the bowler's end. That's a very good bit of work from Jamie Overton. That's what the appeal was. Jamie Overton just noticed that the single, we just sort of walked the last couple of steps there, Hassan Azad, and Jamie Overton, dead-eye Dick, hit the stumps with the throw, and he's got a very strong arm, of course. 159 for 3.
He does get out some odd ways. I mentioned him being run out by the wicketkeeper, sort of rolling the ball into the stumps from 20 yards back once, and then this business last week. He seems to have tracked it.
Around the wicket goes Verdi then to Hill, and Hill covers up, pushes this one out into the offside. There is no run. End of the over. 159 for 3. Hill has 12. Azad is on 77. Rory Burns waits for Jordan Clark to have a natter before Jordan Clark will start tearing in again from the pavilion end. But Hassan Azad's just going for a little jog off towards square leg, keep those feet moving.
Tea's usually set in stone on the last day, isn't it? Is it 410?
Yes, it normally is, isn't it? Yes.
Not 32 overs left to go. It's usually 410 come what may, because there's still 62 overs, so if it was 32, it'd still be 2 hours away, which would take us to past 5 o'clock. But I think it will be 10 past 4. Clark is going to go over the wicket to Azad, who's watching carefully because there's a deep square, or he's looking around carefully. It's interesting you should say about his temperament, and it's very analytical. As in goes Clark and bowls to him, fully waits for it, digs it out a little bit on off stump, and it rolls out to Amla, who's at mid off, as befits a chemical engineer. He's looked at his game, he's looked at what he needs to do to succeed in first class cricket, but he looks at little things as well. So yes, I mustn't allow myself to be distracted by people chirping at me, things like that. So he won't be, because it doesn't pay off, if you know what I mean. In goes Clark and bowls outside of stump. He lifts his gloves, and Burns throws the ball underarm at the stumps, hits the pads of Azad, who was wandering off towards square leg within his crease. But as I say, he has been out like that once before. Folkes is wandering up, maybe just say sorry, I don't know. Azad didn't turn, so maybe not. Who knows? I would dearly love to have a microphone out there sometimes. I think there ought to be a commentator's mic, just so we could hear. In goes Clark and bowls, turns his wrists on that one as he pushes out to mid wicket, and then calls Hill through for a quick single. But Surrey trying to get under his skin. He's a new man to them. He won't have come across Azad before, so as ever in professional sport, try and find an opponent's weakness.
Well, I think we've seen already with him though. They can keep chuntering away to him all day. It's not going to bother him in the slightest.
Yeah, and he won't sort of chirp back or anything. He just sort of look back. Over the wicket comes Clark to Hill. Might just have been the off cutter. It didn't. It was a slightly slower delivery. It didn't off cut. It didn't take the seam. Hill on off stump just played it calmly out into the offside. Experienced man now, Lewis Hill. 30 now. The new dad. Must find out what his daughter's name is. Congratulations to the Hills. 3 short mid wickets in as Clark roars in and bowls to Hill, goes past the outside edge. Did he? No, I think Hill then looked up to the skies, so I think he did play at that one. He might just, his bat was very close to his front pad, and I thought for a second he might just have tucked it in behind it, but I suspect not. I think he had a little feel for that one as it slid past. We'd have to see a replay. 160 for 3. Leicestershire trail by 137 on first innings. 50.1 overs to go. Once it gets to 30, they'll start to think. I'm sure they do believe now, but the supporters will believe as Clark goes forward and he defends Hill out into the offside, and that is the end of the over. But I don't think they'll let themselves, Leicestershire supporters, really believe until probably there are 30 or so overs to go if these two can get through the next 20. If they get to the new ball, there's a chance.
There is, and that new ball is 17 overs away.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's not so very far, is it?
17 overs, so obviously there's a very good chance they could get 1 or 2 before tea with Amar Verdi going from the Vauxhall end, because if we are at 10 past 4, which I'm pretty sure we are, that's an hour.
That's exactly
away.
An hour. 17 hours. It'll be
Verdi bowling.
Yeah.
Might well get a couple in possibly before the tea break with a new ball. Verdi it is, coming round the wicket to Azad, who's tucking this one away through the leg side. Oh, he's got to get his skates on again. He's taking that arm of, he's just dawdling the single. He didn't learn from the last over.
He looked up and suddenly realised who it was and accelerated. It wasn't such a brilliant throw this time, but
just got to be careful.
Concentrate.
Well, the thing is, Jamie Overton did it to him in the last over, so he's had a warning shot from Jamie Overton. That's not a way he wants to be out at the moment. 161 for 3. Over the wicket comes Verdi to Lewis Hill, and Hill's pushing him off the back foot out into the offside, and Hashim Amla comes round to his left to do the fielding. They'll pick up another single. Lewis Hill moves on to 13. 162 for 3. On to strike comes Azad on 79. Waits over his bat once more as Verdi. Round the wicket he goes to him, and this is turned by Azad leg side. They're taking on Overton again, and the throw comes in. Hill's quick though, going to the keeper's end, scampers through for the single.
It was a better call in that it was to Overton's wrong side. He just took a moment to transfer the ball from left hand to right hand, and mighty arm he's got on him though.
He's a big strong fella, isn't he? Jamie Overton.
Yeah, you wouldn't like to be in a boxing ring with him, would you?
Hurls that ball in at a rate of knots. Hill waits for Verdi. Verdi's into him and Hill's forward. Pokes this one down into the leg side, rolls in there to Jamie Overton, who starts shining the ball up. Jordan Clark clapping away down there at a deepish mid-on. Lots of encouragement for Amar Verdi at the moment. Verdi, little flick of that back leg as always, then round the wicket he comes, and Hill is cutting off an outside edge over the top of Rory Burns and down to the third man boundary rope. That'll run away for 4, so he wasn't completely in control of that, but he gets a boundary, does Lewis Hill. He'll move on to 17, his 4th boundary now in this 17, and cutting and the outside edge and flying over the top of Rory Burns.
Kent still battling away. 167 for 6. Notional target 445, but hoping to hang on and save the game against Yorkshire at Canterbury.
Verdi's in again. Forward goes Hill. Pushes this one straight back up the pitch. There is no run. End of the over. 167 for 3 then. I think we've got a hand sanitisation and drinks break out there in the middle with Azad on 80, Hill on 17. And those two gentlemen waiting for the 12th man to bring them a drink.
Very similar situation at Old Trafford, where Northampton up with a notional target of 425 or 164 for 7 now. So it looks like both the Rosies counties are going to take the win. Sussex need 154 to beat Glamorgan. They're 29 for 1 in Cardiff. Worcestershire needing 398 to beat Derbyshire. 102 for 6. Looks like our friends in the East Midlands might be going to win that one at Derby. Good game it's been there. Good declaration from Billy Godalman. Warwickshire, I'm afraid, have lost a couple more wickets there. Needing 333 to beat Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge, are 218 for 6 now. Need another 115 runs from their last 4 wickets. Could happen. Could happen.
What's that? What are those numbers again for Nottinghamshire?
They
haven't won a game for some
27 matches, I think they haven't won in the county championship. Closing in on Leicestershire's record of 37, but might be that they're going to get there. Clark then in from the pavilion end, bowls to Azad outside off stump. Nice wristy little chop away through the offside, very square. Verdi is pretty square. He's almost at deep backward point rather than third man gets to the ball, and Azad settles for 1, moves into the, well, he's already in the 80s, he moves on to 81 in fact.
Yeah, he's played really well here, Hassan Azad. I do like the look of him. I just like his temperament. And he just looks like nothing bothers him really.
He's watching now as Lewis Hill takes strike 2. Clark, who bowls, and Hill drives pleasantly for 4. It was outside off stump, it was pitched up, and Hill seized on it. Didn't try and smash it away towards the Harleyford Road and Archbishop Tennyson's. He just guided it away across this beautiful outfield, and away it ran for 4. The square actually runs the entire width of the oval, if it's not a visual impact that the groundsman is trying to create, because he looks almost as like he's cut pitches to the very boundaries at each end. In goes Clark, bowls again to Hill down the leg side, taken by Folkes. Wasn't too far from leg stump. He stepped across rather there, Hill. Obviously on one side of the ground, on the sort of the gas holders side of the ground, probably knows an official name there, but on that side of the ground there is a net area, but on the Harleyford Road side of the ground, as we look out at it, it looks as though pitches could be cut right up to the stand, well, the popular seats there.
There probably will be by the end of the season. Yeah. Normally there are wickets.
Won't be much of a boundary on that side.
For nets as well.
Okay, that makes sense. In goes Clark and bowls, and Hill clips in the air. Was it a chance? It was in the air. It went between the first and second of the short mid wickets. Now, was it in the air? The way he's lying on the ground there makes you think it probably might have. It might have been.
I think
Let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah.
Struggling. Oh, Stone with his hands in his head.
Well, it's over.
Implies that it. Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether he got a finger on it or not, but it went through between Jamie Smith and Jamie Overton in the air.
Yeah.
So that was why there were hands on heads.
It was low down, but it might have been snaffled, and Overton would have been your man. In goes Clark, bowls, and looking to turn it off the hip, comes off the thigh part of Lewis Hill and trickles, rather than runs quickly down to Verdi, who walks in to meet it. So 1 to the Leicestershire score, but not to Hills, who picked up 4 from that previous ball, which, as I say, we got excited about because it was just a sniff of a chance for Overton. Flung himself to his right, and he's a big, tall man. Couldn't get his hands on it, and it ran away to the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. So Hill dealing in boundaries. He's hit 5 of them in going to 23, but not without jeopardy. Clark in to Azad, who calmly, as ever, just turns him away off middle and leg out towards square leg and jogs a single. You would always say Azad is calm, wouldn't you? He just doesn't. It is the right temperament. So he's one of Leicestershire's great hopes for the future going forward, and it's good to see him making runs against a top quality attack on a test ground, albeit on a very benign pitch on a test ground.
Well, he 55 was it in the first innings and 82 in the second innings, and very good stuff from him. Really, really good. And Amar Verdi it will be to continue from this Vauxhall end of the ground, and Hassan Azad will be the man on strike on 82. He's got a slip at a silly point, 2 men catching at short leg as Verdi is in, and Azad drives out towards extra cover, and there is no run as the fielding's done by Matthew Dunn, and the ball's back in the hands again of Amar Verdi. Verdi bounces in once more, comes round the wicket to the left-handed Azad, who's playing this very late. I thought he was going to let that go to begin with, and then he suddenly thought, oh, I better put the bat on this, and pushed it down towards Kemar Roach down there at backward point. But I genuinely thought he was just going to let that go, and then suddenly at the last possible second he thought, oh, cool, better play a shot at this. Verdi is in once again to him, and again he's playing this very late. Very, very late. He's playing it very well, but playing it very late.
Yeah, he does play late, but this is lovely stuff from Verdi as well. Just love the shape of the deliveries, and there's nothing there for him, but he's making the batsman. I mean, even someone as bright and in good form and in nick as Azad is having to think twice or 3 times about some of these deliveries.
Verdi in once more, and down the pitch goes Azad, and chips this one leg side.
Trying to take that out of the equation, wasn't he there? But again, that's a little victory for Verdi.
Settles once more. Azad on 82. As Verdi is round the wicket to him. That's very short. That one's gone a bit wrong from Amar Verdi, but fair play to Azad. He's put it to the boundary rope, which is what he needed to do. But tried something there, did Amar Verdi, and it didn't come out quite right. Now the ball's gone over the plastic sheets, through the gate, over a gutter, and into the stand.
Yeah, he really did try something different there. I almost don't think he needs to. He bowled so beautifully in the previous 4 balls and asked so many questions. He's young.
Well, 1 for 43 in his 24th over. Last ball of the 24th over from Amar Verdi. He's in now to Azad, and Azad is pushing this one out into the offside. That's the end of the over. 180 for 3 then Leicestershire, creeping along towards, well I say creeping actually since Hills got out there. Hills hit 5 fours in this 23, and Leicestershire now trail by 117 runs.
I think whatever happens, and he probably has already last season, but he's going to give you a lot of pleasure watching Amar Verdi this season and going forward.
Oh, very much so. And he was a very big part of Surrey winning the championship in 2018 as well.
Yeah, you forget he's been around for a couple of years now. Seeing a couple of pictures of the Hill chance. Whoa, it was a chance, about a foot off the ground. Great pictures, courtesy of Mark on the Surrey stream at the moment. He's showing us replays, and it was fairly travelling, but one of those, if you stick your hand out, sometimes they stick. And Overton flung out his right hand, couldn't get there. Good job for Hill, he timed it as well as he did. How are we doing? 47 overs left to bowl in the innings. 15:22. So another 50 minutes or so until tea. 3 mid-wickets crouching as Dunn is in now. 2 Hill, and that's a reasonably comfortable ball to play off his legs down towards deep backward square. Ollie Pope's out there giving Verdi some company out there. Briefly, he's coming back in now because Azad, the left-hander, is going to be on strike.
Well, he's a wonderful fielder, is Ollie Pope. The one thing he's got to just keep a little bit of an eye on, of course, is diving around with that shoulder of his. He's already had a couple of ops on it, his shoulder. Did it first of all, diving and landing on the rope here.
Oh,
which was pretty painful, obviously, and then again
so
it went.
Right shoulder, is it? Or left?
It's a good question.
No,
Yeah,
don't worry.
I can't remember which shoulder it is, but he's had 2 ops on it. And of course, last year had to have one after a Test match, didn't he? Where he dived again and injured the shoulder. So just has to be a little bit careful.
So Dunn's got 2 short mid-wickets and 2 short covers as in he goes and bowls to Azad. Nice and straight. Azad covers up, walks into his defensive push to mid-on, and there is no run. The parallelogram has been broken up now. There's 2 on either side of the wicket. But there's going to be more changes. Burns' busy mind is ticking over, and he's sending Stoneman back to the deep square boundary, and Burns himself takes Stoneman's place as one of the 2 short mid wickets, and he tells the 2 guys on the offside, Messrs Overton and Clark, maybe? No. In goes Dunn over the wicket, bowls to Azad, who just covers up, and Overton gets across and picks up and just rolls the ball at the stumps at the non-striker's end. Hill watches with interest. He hadn't really left his ground.
Yeah, you've got Overton and Pope in there.
Pope, of course it is, yeah.
Short extras, and then you've got the captain and Jamie Smith in there at short mid-wickets. So they're like wings of a plane, those 2 either side at the moment.
No slips, offside or leg side, as Dunn goes in, bowls to Azad, who calmly waits for a delivery on his legs and turns it out to Stoneman, who's at deep square, takes the 1. He's quietly moved on to 87, Hassan Azad.
Yeah, it's very good. Started this morning, well, of course, started 17 overs last night.
What was he on? 13 this morning when he started. Yeah.
And there you are, there's the shout.
That was a skipper.
Amar Verdi.
Oh, was it Verdi? Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Good old shout down there from wherever he is, down at fine leg, I think. 4 men again in that leg side.
The 4 amigos are back. In goes Dunn, bowling to Hill, very far down the leg side. Nice take, one-handed. Low down to his left by Folkes. That was an awkward take because it was almost on the half volley, but he managed to sort of scoop it up cleanly with his left gauntlet.
Yep, Amar Verdi really encouraging Matthew Dunn down there at fine leg. One of those periods of play again since the wicket. Lewis Hill's played really well, so Surrey once again just trying to make something happen.
Dunn is in, bowls down the leg side again. Folkes this time can't get there. That might be buys actually. No, leg buys. There was a little flick on the thigh pad as it went through, but even Folkes with his wonderful hands wasn't able to get there, and it runs away to the fine leg boundary for 4. 186 for 3. Leicestershire now trail by 111 on first innings. 46 overs or thereabouts remain for them to see out.
Yes, and that new ball's going to be important now, and
Potentially,
I wonder whether we
sure.
are we going to get there before the tea break, because there's another 13 to go till the new ball, and another what have we got, 12 to go until, well, 10 past 3, isn't it, until 32 are left, but 10 past 3, so might do, never know, might do, with Amar Verdi bowling. Here is Verdi then, coming round the wicket to Hassan Azad, and Hassan Azad is forward and pushes this one down into the leg side, and there's no run.
It might not be too exercised about it being available before tea, Burns, because it gives his fast bowlers just a chance to have a little massage perhaps and get warmed up and say, right, now we go really hard after the interval.
As this one dug out by Azad. Flat delivery from Amar Verdi, that quicker one from Verdi.
Not that they're not going hard now, but you kind of know what I mean.
Absolutely, but they'll be hoping that there's something happens as well with the new ball. As round the wicket once again goes Verdi, and this is punched off the back foot by Azad and well fielded by Matthew Dunn, tumbling away to his right hand side, because I think it has got better, this pitch. I think if we were still here tomorrow night, I think that the runs just coming for the batsman at the moment, as this is a lovely shot from Azad, and just off that back foot, full face of the bat, and then just punching that one away through the covers for 4. And Azad's into the 90s here, on to 91 he goes, and Leicestershire move on to 190 for 3. But yes, I think if Surrey do manage it today, it will be a very, very good effort on this to pick up 10, to pick up 20 in the game. Be a very good effort on this pitch from the bowlers. And at the moment, Azad and Hill are just forming a partnership, and a good one. 47 it's worth after that wicket of Colin Ackerman. As here is Verdi, and forward goes Azad and pushes away up towards mid-off. And there's no run as Jordan Clark does the fielding.
Nick Matthews has tweeted some of the Surrey fields with the various
yes indeed,
mid wickets.
Are they funky fields? I don't know really. As in round the wicket once again goes Verdi, and this is pushed straight back up the pitch by Azad.
Actually, he's retweeted a Leicestershire tweet, which sorry Leicestershire, they've tweeted the fields.
End of the over from Amar Verdi, 190 for 3 then. And Hill 24, Azad's on 91.
Steve Roberts, thank you for that. He's tweeted that Lewis's daughter is called Rose. Ah, lovely name. Apparently he tweeted it on her arrival.
Excellent.
Done then to continue. Oh, is Amla's going to come into the become one of the amigos, the 4 amigos? Be pleased about that. Dunn is in to Hill, and it is on Midland leg stump, played firmly along the ground towards Amla, but one of his friends nips in front of him and makes the stop.
It's Mark Stoneman in there as well, so it's Amla, Stoneman, Overton Smith.
Okay. Yep. Roach is out at deep backward point. We have a mid-off. We have a deep backward square who's Ollie Pope down there. We have Verdi at long leg, and Burns himself is at slip, of course. Dunn is in to Hill down the leg side. Folkes dives across to his left. Takes it two-handed, I should say. Stoneman's got something to say.
Well, again, I think that they're into that period now as a bowling side where they're just going to try and make something happen. As much through encouragement. There's Stoneman, and just trying to G themselves up as much as anything.
Verdi, listen to him shouting away. It's going to happen, he shouted. Come on, in goes Dunn and bowls, and thick inside part of the bat, but a nice enough drive from Hill. Not sure it was exactly where he was looking to play. It might have been a bit straighter than that, but he's got enough on it for it to run over the boundary at long on for 4. Maybe doing him a disservice there, but it didn't look quite to be as that particular area was looking to hit it. No, he was actually. He did close his hands on it. Apologies, Mr. Hill. You hit it exactly where you intended it. He moves on to 28, 194 for 3.
Yeah, and that's the 50 partnership up between these two. 51 it's worth. Very good runs from these two.
He waits slightly open stance as Dunn is in again to him. A bouncer just leans out of the way. His head goes back, not much body movement, just leans backwards and wanders off to square leg to practice a forward defensive. Slightly different game with respect to him when Dunn is bowling compared to Overton with his aggression or Roach with his know-how. Sounds awful, doesn't it? Because he's still a very fine bowler, Matthew Dunn, but the threat, famous last words, doesn't quite feel as though it's quite the same level. And he goes and bowls to Hill, who defends comfortably enough. And it drops down on the onside and there's no run. One more ball left in the over and then 11 overs until the new ball.
Warwickshire 228 for 6 now.
Oh, come on, you Bears. What is it, 335 their target?
Well, they need another 106 from 228. Whatever that is.
Not impossible, is it? Not impossible. That would leave Nottinghamshire gutted. In goes Dunn and bowls to Hill, who clips away on the leg side. A full ball. Beg your pardon, Pope can't get there, but Verdi covers across behind him. He can get there. Hill takes a couple. Moves on to 30. Azad has 91. It is the end of the over. 196 for 3. Still trail by 101 runs, Leicestershire. But they are doing their best to take what would be a really hard-earned draw away from the Oval against a side that's going to be there or thereabouts, you feel, at the end of the season.
Emma Verdi comes wandering up to continue and bowl his 26th over. Verdi 1 for 47 so far for Amar Verdi. And Hassan Azad, who's on 91, will be the man on strike. Slip, silly point. 2 men catching at short leg. As Verdi then.
That's a fire engine.
Yes, round the wicket he comes to Azad, who's digging this out. Puff of dust where his bat hits the turf. That rolls up towards Hashim Amla. Stood up there at mid-on. Waits again, there's Azad. In round the wicket goes Verdi to him. Azad has got himself in a bit of a tangle. Came down the pitch and Verdi saw him. And I think Verdi there was trying to just fire it down the leg side and try and strand him down the leg side. But he managed to get a foot out to it and almost kick it away, did Azad on 91. But yes, he shot out from the stumps there, did Azad. As here is Verdi once again to him, and he's playing this off the back foot. Pushes it down in front of him, rolls in there to silly point. Fielding's done by Stoneman under a helmet now. In there at silly point is Mark Stoneman. Verdi's in once more to Azad, and Azad is forward again, pushing this one back up the pitch, and there's no run. And Verdi walks back towards us. Watch the little flick. There we are. There's the little flick of the right leg from Amar Verdi. Then he's in, and Azad backs away and chops this one out into the offside. And there's Jordan Clark to do the fielding. 196 for 3. Leicestershire. 101 runs they trail by as Verdi's in again, and this one Azad's playing from the crease again and forcing down to backward point. There was a little bit of a build-up of pressure there from Amar Verdi, but Azad gets through the over. It was a maiden over, and 196 for 3. Leicestershire. Hill has 30, and Azad is on 91. And it will be Matthew Dunn to continue from the pavilion end of the ground. That run rate up to 2.8 now is the run rate.
Again, causing problems, already making the batsman think He runs away down to long leg as Dunn comes in from the pavilion end, bowls to Hill, who clips to Jamie Smith, the first of the 4 short mid wickets. Takes the ball nicely, two-handed, threatens to hurl the ball at the stumps, sees that Hill hadn't gone too far, so doesn't bother doing so. Passes it down the line. Overton, Stoneman and Amler, the 4 men in there within. You could almost put a blanket over them. Big blanket, okay, but not far off. A king size, is that what they call them? In goes Dunn and bowls onto the hip of Hill, and it looped into the air towards Burns for a second, but he's shaking his left hand a little bit there, or just the hip. It loops so slowly, makes you think it was thigh pad, but...
Well, at the moment, one way to describe it is there's a scrum in rugby, and Burns is at scrum half, then he's got Smith at fly half, Overton at inside centre.
Yeah, back line,
and
the
then
back line.
Stoneman at outside centre, and then the flying Hashim Amla waiting on the wing.
Ollie Pope's at full-back. In goes Dunn and plays it to the fly half, who is Jamie Smith.
Yep, and then you've got Verdi, the other winger. But yeah, they do look. They look like a backline that are just gonna, in a moment, Stoneman's gonna just wander back and Amler's gonna wander back. But they're just sort of in a formation of fly half, inside centre, outside centre, and winger at the moment.
Dunn turns. Just the 2 men then in the field on the offside at the moment. In he comes to Hilton bowls on Midland leg. Played firmly down into the ground and towards Stoneman, the 3rd of the 4 short mid wickets. By Lewis Hill. Verdi's doing some stretching down there of his back. When you lie on your back and then sort of twist your torso one way and t'other, and now he's sort of sitting up and using his knee for a quad stretch.
He's worked so hard on his fitness, Amar Verdi. He really has.
Done. Very straight run. In he comes and bowls. Not a great bouncer down the leg side and tumbling away to his left, folks, towards his skipper Burns. Takes it cleanly. No run, of course, because he'll just made sure he wasn't in the way.
I think sort of with Amar Verdi as well, being away with England has given him that opportunity to do all his training, and yeah, very impressive. He's lost a lot of weight as Amar Verdi, much fitter than he was.
Yeah, looks an athlete now. A bit like Azad in a way. He's had to work hard. In goes Dunn and bowls to Hill, full onto leg stump, clipped nicely out to Pope, who hurls the ball back. He sort of waited for it, and then realising it was Azad, who can be slightly dilatory in his running, hurled it in very hard past the stumps. When they do throw hard, these professional cricketers, the ball fairly whistles through the air. That one did into the gloves of folks beside the stumps, but Azad had made his ground. End of the over. Hill keeps the strike with that single. He moves on to 31. Azad 91. 42 potentially left to be bowled, and it is
T.
It is T.
Yeah.
20-4. Okay, so it is set in stone, but at 20-4, not at 10 past 4. Well, the game's still very much in the balance. 3 wickets have been taken, 3 big wickets by Surrey, including one in that session. Leicestershire skipper Colin Ackerman, but home side still have plenty of work to do. They will soon have a new ball to try and force the breakthrough, but Leicestershire fighting hard, mainly through the left-handed opener Hassan Azad, who goes in for tea on 91 not out. Lewis Hill is with him on 31 not out. We'll be back with you, won't we, Churchy, in around about 15 minutes or so time. But I'm ready for a cup of tea.
We are indeed, and yeah, we'll be back with you. There's the match summary on the Surrey live stream. Back with you in 20 minutes for the final session of this championship game. Well, a very warm welcome back to the Kia Oval here on BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Leicester and the Surrey live stream. Tea break is over and Leicestershire are 197 for 3. So Surrey have managed 3 wickets today, but just the 1 wicket after lunch. That of the captain, Colin Ackerman, very well caught by Ben Folkes off the bowling of Amar Verdi for 29. And Lewis Hill has 31 and Hassan Azad is 91 not out. Surrey have a new ball due in 9 overs time, and there are 42 overs remaining in the day. Leicestershire trail by 100, so this was always, can Leicestershire bat the day out? And at the moment they're looking pretty good for that, but that new ball will be very, very important. But this pitch, still not a huge amount happening, taking absolutely nothing away from the Leicestershire batsmen. But we said this morning, if you wanted a pitch to try and save a game on, this is the pitch. 197 for 3. Richard Razor alongside, of course, and still hard work for both sides to do, Mr. Ray. But I think if you'd said to Leicestershire 3 down at tea this morning, they'd have said thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, they'd have said then that they had a chance, and they have given themselves a chance with hard work and application. Lewis Hill is going to take strike to Verdi, surrounded by close fielders, 4 of them plus wicketkeeper Ben Folkes. The sun has gone behind clouds slightly as Verdi is in. Bowling to Hill, who goes back and plays it firmly off the stumps out towards Hashim Amla, who puts in a nice throw, rather stylish low sideways throw. But Hassan Azad had more than comfortably made his ground. Still extremely pleasant conditions down here in South London, just South London. The Thames only, 150 metres up the road. In goes Verdi and bowls. Azad stretches forward, lots of oohs and ahs. Thick inside part of the bat, drops it back down the pitch. Azad has faced now 204 balls for his 91. He's hit 12 fours. Verdi bowls. Azad forward. Back down the pitch on the onside. Verdi himself hops across and picks up the ball. Round about level with the popping crease. I wonder if Burns will try anything really different, maybe give Stoneman an over or 2 before the new ball arrives. In goes Verdi, goes back Azad and plays it in the air. He sort of stopped on the shot. He got in position to force into the offside. He realised it was coming on a little bit more than perhaps he thought it was going to, and stopped on the shot and was in the air. Verdi again causing problems. In he goes, bowls. Azad goes back and forces to the offside, edges through not far, much more than second slip, and it goes down to the third man boundary for 4. Well, he's living dangerously in this first over after tea. Hassan Azad, he was out there during the tea interval actually practicing a little bit, so must be feeling a little bit tired, but a little bit loose there, perhaps trying to get these runs against the old ball before the new ball arrives. He's got to be there. In goes Verdi and bowls to him. He's hit on the back pad, but it looks to me to be going down the leg side. It trickles down towards leg gully. It's a good shout, as in a concerted shout, but I suspect Verdi might have been suspicious it was probably sneaking down the leg side. End of an eventful over. Leicestershire brought the 200 in it with that streaky fall from Azad, but he's moved also onto 95.
He has. The only other one would be, I think he's going to, is Rory Burns, and I think Burns is going to have a bowl here. Now, he either bowls off spin or medium pace, and I'd have thought he'll bowl his medium pace here,
right,
Rory Burns, just because it's different. He's got to do something. Now, his medium pace, he has opened the bowling for Surrey in a very strange affair where he had to bowl 1 over to get us finished.
Okay.
But this is going to be Rory Burns just running in and bowling some medium pace with Ben Folkes up to the stumps and close catches either side to Lewis Hill. So he's in now, Rory Burns. Oh, hello, down the leg side it goes. What Lewis Hill does not want here is that bat leg coming out the crease, because those bails are off in a flash by Ben Folkes. But Rory Burns here has... The other thing is it will get them through to the new ball quicker, obviously, as well. But Rory Burns, it's a good move, this, from Rory Burns. He does get it to wobble in the air. And it must be a good couple of years since we've seen Rory Burns have a bowl. He's coming in now over the wicket to Lewis Hill, and this is beautifully taken again by Ben Folkes standing up to the stumps. But all is good in the world when Rory Burns is bowling, I would say. He does have first-class wickets, Rory Burns.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for his analysis to come up on the site, but they're obviously struggling to find it.
They won't have done it.
Here we go. 2 first-class wickets.
Here he comes in over the wicket to Hill, and Hill is turning into the leg side, and they will pick a single. One more to Hill. He moves on to 33, 203 for 3.
I'm guessing you'll have seen them. I don't know whether you recall them
One I
individually.
remember was his off spin, going
right.
straight up in the air at Lord's after a massive partnership. And I think it would have been possibly Chris Rogers off the top of my head. I hate to say this, I can't remember the other one in any way, shape or form. As round the wicket he comes to Azad, who's letting this one go outside his off stump, and that's taken again by Ben Folkes, who whips off the bows again for good measure, and then goes and gets them for umpire Pollard. Umpire Pollard better be on his toes here, because Folkes always whips those bails off in a flash, but this time he has done the retrieval work himself. Look at this from Rory Burns. He is bowling sheer pace here with this field. As in he comes again, and Azad is opening the face and letting that one hit the face of the mat, run off down towards third man, and Amar Verdi comes on to strike. Richard, you take over because he's on 97 here. Now I'm taking nothing away from Rory Burns, but you never know, there might be a long hop for Azad to hit to the boundary here on 97.
It's very kind of you. Just the one ball to go in the over. Well, the symmetry of the field has been spoiled. In goes Burns and bowls and defends. And that almost came out of the back of his hand, I think, Rory Burns there. Defends on the off stump, Azad pushing out into the offside. Hopefully somebody will have got a picture of that wonderfully symmetrical field with 3 close fielders on each side of the bat. Burns won't have often bowled to fields like that, I would think, in his first-class career. 205 for 3, Azad 97, Hill 33 now on strike. The partnership creeping up to 62. The deficit, obviously therefore, going down slightly, now 92. 40 overs, remember 16 in the last hour to be bowled. Verdi is in to Hill, who waits and waits and then just turns his wrists on a defensive shot, playing from the crease, knowing that there isn't really going to be any turn and he can trust the pitch. Can play it from very, very deep, and does. Turns it out to Overton at mid-wicket. Verdi in again. Bowls, and that one might just have threatened to straighten away down the leg side. Unfortunately, it was pitched on leg stump and went on. Folkes took it, and as is his wont, didn't quite demolish the stumps, but he made a bit of a mess of them. He puts them all back together again. Umpire Pollard, who was walking in, now backs away. Verdi in, bowls, back goes Hill, turns it into the gap between leg slip and short leg. Oh, and there's a bit of a misfield down there on the long leg boundary by Roach, but he quickly corrects and then hurls the ball in. His stint of work is yet to come. There are 6.5 overs until the new ball.
Yeah, and I think the other reason for Burns is to get to that new ball as quick as they can. Really? You might find that he comes out the attack, and whoever it is who's going to take the new ball, one to go, might just bend their back just to get it loose.
I'd do something. No, do something different, Rory. You take the new ball, mate. You
Well,
keep
he's done it before for Surrey.
Yes, round the wicket goes Verdi and bowls down the leg side. Is helped on its way. Did he get anything on it? Hassan Azad, if he did, could be his 100. It isn't. It's byes. Didn't get anything on it. Folkes couldn't get there, and away down to the finest of fine leg boundaries for 4 extras to Leicestershire, 210 for 3. This is his 28th over. Amar Verdi might be feeling a little bit in his shoulder. In he goes, bowls to Azad, who goes back and clips away through the leg side. That could be it. It's a long chase for Hashim Amla. It should be the 3 he needs. It might be 4. It is 4. Well batted, Hassan Azad. An outstanding century from Leicestershire's young left-hander. He raises his helmet and his bat to the Leicestershire support staff and to the pavilion where they are housed for this game. Lewis Hill pats him on the back. That has been a superbly hard-working century for Hassan Azad. He made 3 against Gloucestershire a couple of years ago. Well, I think that's his best so far. Outstanding stuff from Hassan Azad. 100 to him.
Yes, very good innings from Hassan Azad. Has been in absolute control throughout. Hasn't given a chance from memory. He's just batted beautifully here.
He waits as Verdi goes in and bowls to him and defends on the off stump. His 100 came off 212 balls, included 14 fours. End of the over. Leicestershire up to 214 for 3. Hill has 34. Azad has 101. They are 83 behind. Overs are ticking off towards that new ball, but they are also ticking off towards the end of the game.
Yep, and 214 for 3, 101 for Azad. Rory Burns into his second over now. 4 men catching at mid-wicket, 2 men at cover, as over the wicket he comes to Lewis Hill, and Hill is punching this one out towards Kemar Roach out there at cover point, and they'll pick up a single. I still think even with a new ball on this pitch, if Surrey managed it from here, it'd be a hell of an effort from someone. It really would. I think Leicestershire have done most of the work now. I think these two need to be there for the new ball, but I still think it'll take something quite special from a bowler on here as this is turned leg side by Hassan Azad, and they will pick up another single. 1 more to him. He moves on to 102. 216 for 3. Put it this way, I think Leicestershire would be gutted if they don't get there now. 38.4 to go. If wickets don't fall with that new ball, it could be a bit earlier than that, I think, as Hill is forward here to Rory Burns and pushed out towards the second of those covers. Rory Burns mixing it up here. I don't think he's swung one yet, to be fair to him, but he's getting it on a line of length as over the wicket he comes, bustles in, ponytail behind him, short delivery, and that's punched off the back foot. Ponytail is part of him. I don't mean there's just a random ponytail floating behind Rory Burns. It is part of Rory Burns' ponytail at the moment. 216 for 3 as Hill waits again. Over the wicket comes Burns to him, and Hill is playing from the crease, punching off the back foot into the covers, and Jordan Clark does the fielding in there.
Springsteen tweets that Warwickshire are 247 for 6 V-knots. Could happen, he says. Concentrate on this game.
In again comes Burns, and driving is Hill very nicely, and down the ground. He'll get a boundary here. Over the rope it goes, and away for 4. So nice shot from Hill. Runs really aren't even an issue at the moment. 220 for 3. Hill on to 39, and Azad moves on to 102. And of course there still could be a big old twist in this, but all I'm saying is they have done a lot of the work so far, Leicestershire, and I still think even with a new ball, one of the Surrey pacemen would have to do something fairly special on this for Surrey to pick up 7 wickets with the new ball. And that new ball is 5 overs away now, and conditions are lovely. Sun's out.
Verdi is in, bowls to Azad, just leans forward, deflects it out towards backward point, picked up by Roach. He has to recompose himself, steady himself again, because he still has work to do, Azad. He needs to be there when that new ball is taken. Verdi in. Bowles, couple of steps down the wicket, does get to it on the full, clips it firmly, but only as far as Overton at mid-wicket, and there is no run. Overton goes through the motions of throwing the ball at the stumps at the non-striker's end, doesn't let it go. Verdi is in and bowling. Azad forward on Midland leg this time, back to Verdi. Hill goes to umpire Lloyd and says, got something in my eye. Umpire Lloyd looks but doesn't touch, and whatever it is, Hill has sorted it out. 220 for 3 as Verdi is in and bowling, leaves outside off stump Azad, taken by Folkes, no run. Motorbike goes up the Harleyford Road perhaps.
So it's captain of the team. You talked on the captains.
Verdi is in and bowls. Forward, bat in front of pad goes Azad, pushing the ball back up the pitch to the young Sikh. I'm saying young, how old is he, Verdi? 23, 24?
Yeah, 22.
22, he is young.
Still very young.
Yeah. Little hop and he's in and bowls. Forward he goes Azad to silly point and there is no run. There is something of Beddy about him, isn't there? It isn't just the Patco, it is the sort of loop and the skill and the flight. Lovely to see, anyway.
No, he's
220 for 3.
very good bowler is Amar Verdi. But even he would have just been hoping for a little bit more today, I think. On this surface. Burns to bowl his 3rd over now. 220 for 3. Hill on strike. As Rory Burns is over the wicket to Lewis Hill, and Hill is solidly forward, pushing this delivery from Rory Burns straight back up the pitch, and there is no run as Matthew Dunn does the fielding in there. I thought it would be Roach, and I wonder if Jordan Clark might get the new ball actually. In over the wicket comes Rory Burns. Oh, he's bowled a little offie there, I think, and it's clipped very nicely by Lewis Hill into the leg side. There is no run once again. Folks, up to the stumps of course here. Burns bustles in. That's Shaw's. Oh, now Lewis Hill was through that very early. He's got to be a bit careful, flicking that leg side with 3 men lurking in that mid-wicket region. He does not want to be flicking one of those to one of those 3 men at the moment with that new ball coming. As Burns is in once again to Hill, and Hill turns again in there to the middle of the 3. That's Ollie Pope, the middle of the 3 there, as Hill waits again, settles himself down over his bat once more as Burns is in again. That's very wide. That's a terrific take from Ben Folkes, because that was very wide, and standing up Ben Folkes flings himself to his right to take that. I think that was the effort delivery.
Overton thought he was in the game there. He was ready at slip.
Comes in once again the Surrey captain, and Hill pushes this one back up the pitch to Rory Burns. That's a maiden over from Rory Burns, but what it does do is it pushes Surrey to within 3 overs of that new ball. 220 for 3, and sort of it's a bit of a game within this game at the moment, getting through to the new ball, really.
6 overs since tea, so sanitising time. 77 overs in the innings, 220 for 3. Partnership 77 between Hill and Azad. The runs almost equally shared even. Hill has 39 of them. .36 overs potentially to be bowled. What time is it? 20 past 4. So the last hour will start at When does the last hour start? That's another question,
well,
isn't
it
it?
will have shifted, of course,
Yeah.
because of all these different timings. Problem is, we haven't really been told what the timings are again.
We will get a signal. In goes Verdi and bowls to Azad, who is forward, firmly back down the pitch to Verdi.
You see, normally it's 5 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah,
But by the time we get to the new ball and get to 5 o'clock, that sort of might not make sense. But again, I think we'll just have to wait to see.
Verdi bowls. Back goes Azad, forces out through the offside for 4. Controlled shot, nice shot, beautifully timed out through point, runs away for 4. During the tea interval, and I was doing my update for BBC Radio Leicester, I was listening to the Tigers game, and Chris Edgerton, the commentator, was saying, I'm just going to listen into ref Mike so I can find out what's happening. I thought, why on earth can't we do that? You know, they're not playing what's on the mic, but he said, he's given the decision because of collapsed scrum in that case, and it made everything clear. No reason at all why cricket couldn't do that. Verdi is in over the wicket, no ball, says umpire Lloyd.
I can think of one reason: money, because it costs a lot of money to get that technology
Does it?
in. Yeah,
One microphone?
Yeah, it would do.
Play
to
to
be
us?
able to, to get it into live streams and.
Oh, we didn't have to use it on the streams. I mean,
no, I think it would
in
cost
goes
a bit.
Verdi and turned into the leg side by Azad, and he's going to pick up a single bit of ground for Overton to make up.
I'm pretty sure the reason Chris can hear that is because it's a TV game. They wouldn't have that there if it wasn't a TV game. So ref mic, I'm pretty sure in rugby, if it's not on the telly, I don't think ref mic's on every game on the radio. So I think you'd have to put that structure in place and that cost in place for county cricket.
Verdi is in, tossing one up to Hill, who waits for it and then clips it away down towards deep mid wicket. He's going to take a comfortable single, moves on to 40, 228
Suppose you
for
could
3.
put a very long lapel mic on them.
Well,
couldn't you, up
okay
the-
then, a cheap version, because they have a walkie-talkie to the scorers. Round the wicket goes Verdi, forward goes Azad, defending into the offside, and there's no... All I'm thinking is that even if there was a commitment not to... Obviously there would be a commitment not to broadcast it, but the information would come through. We'd find out why the ball was changed, or you know, why that decision was or wasn't. In goes Verdi and bowls, turned off his legs by Azad, bounces off the shin pads of Smith at short leg, back onto the pitch, and again there is no run.
It'd be good, but they don't even do that in international cricket. So you know, there's no umpire mic in international cricket. You can't in an international game you don't have the umpire telling you why they didn't give a decision or any of that, do you? So I think again it's technology and the other thing
I think it's something for cricket to think about, because rugby, it works brilliantly, despite the language that goes on. But you know, hey, that's one of those things.
I think with decisions and things, you know, they're made on the field, and but I agree with you with sort of when overs are. But there's a pretty simple way round that. As here is Rory Burns, and over the wicket he comes, and this one's tucked away into the leg side, goes out there towards deep backward square, and they'll pick up one more, 229 for 3. And that's just sort of letting everybody know what at the start of play what time everything is, and if anything has shifted, what's that's going to be. As Burns is in round the wicket once again, and forward goes Azad. He pushes this one out towards backward point, and there's no run.
I just think it's something that cricket could do to make the spectacle more understandable. I don't know. I
bet it'll be in the 100. I bet they'll all be mic'd up in that. As here is Rory Burns, and this is drilled straight back up the pitch by Azad.
Small Mammal on Twitter. Perhaps the umpires could be trained to do more signals to provide extra information.
Well, I think just on sort of playing conditions and hours of play and number of overs and all that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? But with sort of explaining decisions, as forward goes Azad, and this one's pushed away out towards short extra cover. There's no run. Again, that would be something that has never happened before in cricket, and
I kind of feel it has to come.
Oh, I think it will do because of the way that sport is going now. It's access all areas virtually. Here is Burns, and this is nicely driven by Azad. Oh, he's timed that beautifully, and off goes Amar Verdi to do the retrieval work, and they'll pick up 2 more as the throw comes in over the top of the stumps. 1 bounce, and Azad moves on to 109, 231 for 3. And there might be things they don't want everybody to know as well. There is all of that stuff that goes on out in the middle as well. It's an all-seeing eye these days, isn't it? As Burns is into Azad, and Azad is forward and pushing this one back up the pitch. But yet, from a purely sort of technological point of view, it's not being done already. And I think probably with the rugby, as I say, obviously all the Six Nations games, you can hear what the refs are saying and all that good stuff, and it's great, absolutely terrific to be able to hear it. But as I say, those are all televised games. So I think from a technology point of view, it's the games that are being televised. You tend to find that that's where the refs are all mic'd up.
Yeah, no, Springsteen on Twitter pointed out it. Leicester Tigers v Bath is televised, so as you say, purely because of that. But it's just such an excellent addition that well, I'd like to see it. So it doesn't have to be broadcast, and probably wouldn't be I'm sure for a while, but you'd get some information. We're gonna get an over from Mr. Stone.
Excellent,
from Mr. Stoneman.
Excellent.
I've seen him take wickets for Durham. So there's the beard that's feared.
It's been trimmed up now, I think. That was from the press day, I think. That's when it was at its most magnificent, that beard. I think it's been trimmed now.
In he goes, Mark Stoneman, and bowls. Back goes Hill, forcing through the offside. Close to Stoneman, who dives away to his left and slows the ball as it goes out to Hashim Amla. And there's no run. Stoneman in again, bowls, back goes Hill, cutting away towards backward point. It's a bit of a chase for Overton. That's going to warm him up for the new ball, if he gets it. I suspect he will. He gets there at deep third man, gets his throwaway on the bounce to Folkes. Hill picks up 2.
The only thing I would say is Kemar Roach doesn't look as if he's about to come on to bowl. He sort of stood out there with his hands in his pockets at the moment at deep backward square.
Stoneman in again, back goes Hill, plays it calmly out through the offside. Poor Overton has to run the other way, does so, single to him.
Ah, here he goes, there he is. He wasn't doing anything, Kemar Roach, he was sort of just stood with his hands in his pockets, but he's now doing a little bit of leg exercise there.
Well, he's very lithe anyway, isn't he, I'm sure, so maybe he doesn't need to warm up quite as much as some of us who have to be practically cranked up in the morning to get out for the run. Spend more time warming up than do running sometimes, just to get everything warmed up. Round the wicket goes Stoneman, tosses that one right up and driven on the full by Azad, but only as far as Verdi, who's in the cordon, the 2-man cordon, that is, at shortish extra. Stoneman bowls, driven again, reaching for it a little bit, perhaps Azad, hence the cries of approval from behind the stumps from Burns and Folkes. Bright sunshine again at the oval, could be because I've taken my sunglasses off. In goes Stoneman, back goes Azad and defends, turns his wrists on the defensive shot, and that might be Mark Stoneman's work done for the day in terms of bowling, because we have reached 80 overs. There are potentially 33 left to be bowled. A new ball is available with Lewis Hill on 44, Hassan Azad on 109, Leicestershire on 234 for 3. So Surrey still need 7 wickets from those 33 or so overs. Leicestershire 63 runs simply to make Surrey bat again, probably an irrelevance. New ball has been taken.
Yes, and I'd have been slightly surprised if it hadn't been. What will be interesting here is, can Surrey make something happen with the new ball? That's the thing here. So Hashim Amla's nipped off. Oh no, he hasn't. There he is, up there at mid-on. Apologies. Is that Ryan Patel out there? Someone's nipped off, because Ryan Patel's out there, I think, at the moment. There's the second of the 2 mid-wickets catching. Here we go then. Kemar Roach with a new ball. coming in over the wicket to Hill, and it's short and it's pulled by Hill and away for 4 runs. So that's the other thing with the new ball. On this pitch, it could start travelling off to the boundary as well and get those runs down, which is important from a Leicestershire point of view. But I still think it's going to need something pretty special here from somebody. Sorry to win this from here. 238 for 3. And Roach and, well, it says Stoneman, but he won't be taking the new ball, as Roach is over the wicket to Hill on 48, and he's looking for back-to-back 50s in the game. Lewis Hill does like batting here. Lewis Hill lets this one go outside his off stump.
Surrey Pigeons weighing in with suggestions for the new signals on Twitter with flags.
Well,
why not?
Wait for the 100.
Yeah, anything.
Genuinely, because I think if you're going to experiment with anything, that's where the ECB will do it, in the 100. As Roach runs towards us, comes in over the wicket to Lewis Hill, and Hill's letting this one go, and it bounces once into the gloves of Ben Folkes, moving away to his right hand side. Rory Burns has got a slightly resigned grin on his face in there at first slip. I'm hoping that was the slower ball from Kemar Roach. But otherwise, this pitch is getting better and better and better. Kemar Roach turns once again. 2 slips, 2 men catching it mid-wicket. Roach is into Hill, and Hill drives, and that goes past his outside edge. Oh, it's a naughty shot from Lewis Hill. He knows it's a naughty shot as well. He's walked off towards square leg and then rehearsed letting it go. If he'd got a nibble on that, he would have been absolutely livid with himself. And he's just rehearsing again, letting the ball go outside his off stump. Lewis Hill. Roach gets the ball back once again from Matthew Dunn. Stood up there at mid-off. 283 for 3 Leicestershire, as Roach is into Hill, and Hill digs him out and pushes up towards mid-on. And he probably had the big shout of no there from Lewis Hill. But 2 runs away from, well, he made 100 here 6 years ago. I think he made 100 in the duck actually here 6 years ago, and then at 70 and 48 not out now.
He did 126, yeah. And then zip LBW to Dunn.
It's not bad though, is it?
Dunn got him in both innings actually.
As in again comes Kemar Roach. That swings after it goes past the off stump of Lewis Hill. End of the first over with the new ball, and 238 for 3, and it'll be Matthew Dunn, I think, from the Vauxhall end. So yeah, that's not bad, is it? So 4 innings, 100, 0, 70, 48 not out, and a chance for another 50 for Lewis Hill. So he averages quite a lot here, Lewis Hill.
Well, it is going to be Matthew Dunn who shares the new ball with Kemar Roach. He's going to bowl from the Vauxhall end. 11 overs so far of the 81 that have been bowled. 11 overs, 1 maiden, none for 37.
Amazing.
To Dunn.
Amazing figures from Ollie Robinson for Sussex today.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about him as an international of the near future. Dunn, with a number 4 on his back, is in and bowling to Azad, and it swings comfortably onto his legs. He turns it calmly out towards deep backwards square. Pope is out there, gets away a nice throw, but Azad had long since turned and made his ground for the second.
30.1 overs, 10 maidens, 9 for 78.
Wow.
For Ollie Robinson. So yes, he's been in with England for a while now, hasn't he? But you keep doing that, you're definitely going to play a test match this summer.
Pope leans forward, then he gets into his run and into bowl to Azad, who again is wristily turning into the leg side. Straighter delivery this time, so it goes a little bit squarer, so to speak, towards Pope, and he takes the single. Have you ever seen a 10-for?
Have I ever seen a 10-for?
As in one
Yes,
innings?
No.
All 10 in one innings?
I don't know if I have, actually.
I have.
Who was your tenfer?
Former Leicestershire player, actually. If I say he's also played for Barbados.
Otis Gibson? Yes.
There you go.
Otis, yes, of course.
Dunn is in and bowling to Hill on off stump, solidly behind it, back down the pitch. Dunn picks up in his follow through against Hampshire, and then he took the next 2 in the second innings as well, so he had 12 out of 12 at one stage. But I got him to sign the card.
Excellent.
It's framed next to my match report at home.
He was a wonderful bowler, wasn't he, Otis Gibson?
A lot of heart, the big man. Dunn in to Hill. Oh, he's just a quick step across and defends out into the offside. Again, there is no run.
I think there was a little hint of something there for Matthew
just
Dunn.
a bit. Partnership's 98, actually.
Yeah, they've done well, haven't they, since that wicket of Ackerman?
Yeah, that looked a big old wicket. But Hill batted well in the first innings, batting well in the second. Likewise, Azad. The old 2 short mid-wickets are back. Hands on knees, looking a touch weary perhaps, as in goes Dunn and bowls to Hill. That's onto leg stump, clipped away down to fine leg for 4, and that's Lewis Hill's half century, his second of the game. Played really, really well, Lewis Hill. Leicestershire were in a perilous position. They still are to an extent, but he's made a really, really big difference, given Hassan Azad outstanding support. He's moved on to 52 not out. He's faced just 77 balls, so it's been at a good pace. He's hit 9 4s, and the partnership is over 100. Dunn is in to him again on off stump, and Hill, making a little statement, just leans forward and defends it out into the offside. End of the over, 245 for 3. Hill 52, Azad 112 in the partnership. As I say, up to 100 now.
Yeah, I wonder if these 2 are still there at 5 o'clock. Surrey might just think about shaking hands and giving it a go, to be fair, because I can't see a huge amount happening on this, to be honest with you. And they've given it everything. I'm not. I'm genuinely racking my brains to think what else they could have done, really. And you just look at the scores, really. 375, 672 for 8 declared, 245 for 3 on the last day. So you know you're on a good one. And it's Kemar Roach coming round the wicket to Azad. Oh, he's letting that go. It was wide outside the off stump, but he sort of hung the bat out there. He wasn't that far away from the bat.
He wanted to launch himself at that one, didn't he? And he just sort of just held himself back. The Surrey coaches trying to walk a wicket there with Pope.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they can come up with, to be honest with you. Down there, Richard Johnson down there to our left, as Kemar Roach round the wicket he comes once again, and Azad, good looking shot this from Azad, and again on this surface just trusting it, hands go through it, and that whistles off to the boundary rope for 4 runs. Nicely played by Azad. He moves on to 116, 249 for 3. But Leicestershire have done this extremely well. But when you're sort of at 437 on the last day, you've had coming up for 1,200 runs, and 21 wickets have fallen. It's been a good game for the batters, this. As round the wicket once again goes Kemar Roach, and Azad pushes this one down into the leg side. That runs in there towards short mid-wicket, and there is no run. But yes, as I say, I think if these 2 are still around in 20 odd minutes time, another 5 or 6, even with 20 odd overs to go, I still think it's going to be very difficult to take 7 wickets. As here is Kemar Roach once again, and Azad, nicely played, just rolls the wrists on this. And of course, because they're searching for wickets, the field's up and the runs are flying, and 44 behind now Leicestershire. That change of innings anyway would take 2 out. So I don't think we're going to see a Surrey run chase tonight, like we did 6 years ago, obviously. 250 up with that boundary. 253 for 3. Round the wicket once again goes Kemar Roach, and Azad, very, very good looking defensive shot again. He'll wander off towards square leg. He really has shown how to do this as Azad in its own way. This is an absolute work of art from Hassan Azad. 120 from 242 balls, I think that is now, with 16 fours. Tremendous stuff from him. Waits again as Kemar Roach is into him, and that's a lovely looking defensive shot again. On a length, pushed out towards cover. Jamie Smith does the fielding. End of another over. 253 for 3 then. And Leicestershire trail by 44. And are we getting a little break here? I think we are. Hand sanitisation break again. And the bowling figures just flashing up there on the Surrey live stream. But I don't know what more really Surrey could have done today. Not bowled badly by any stretch of the imagination. I suppose when it was those 2 wickets in 2 balls from Jordan Clark.
Yeah.
That was the moment. And then of course the ball got changed. That ball got changed by the umpires.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out if we'd ever do what happened there. Why they decided to change it. It was their decision, you know. Neither captain was involved in terms of showing the ball to the umpires. It was the umpires informing them it was going to be changed. Hill on strike. 2 done. Just the one short with mid-wicket now as he goes in and bowls. Turns him off his legs down to a slightly weary looking Verdi now. He jogs towards the ball, gets his throw away. He's been on t'other side of the ground during most of his fielding, Amar Verdi, but now he's over on the Harleford Road side in front of the splendidly informative electronic scoreboard, sort of between the school and the flats, so it doesn't obscure the view from those upper windows. Sure, the owners are grateful. In goes Dunn and bowls to Azad outside off stump. Allows it to go through. Bet those flats command something of a premium. I wonder if the club would be allowed to put an extra tier on that stand in the end.
I don't know.
Don't know. It might be, you know, ditto on the other side really, because...
Well, they've obviously been allowed to.
Yeah, over there. That's
Yes.
at the
Well,
end. The
I
end
hope
of
they have.
some people's views. Yes, the end of some people's views. One oval terrace. In goes Dunn and bowls to Azad, who is fending and edging through 4th slip stroke gully for 4. Well bowled, Dunn, who has his hands on his hips. He got a bit out of that new ball, and for a second, well, he might have thought he'd made the breakthrough. Azad. Little fend, and it was in the air, but it was well wide of Overton at 2nd slip. Azad moves on to 124.
Yeah, that was a genuine edge, I think, from Azad, but it flew down to that 3rd man boundary rope for 4 runs.
Whisper it, but Azad is now approaching his first class career best, which is 139. Dunn is in and bowling. Azad covers up carefully. Ball that just shapes back into him a fraction. Pushes it out to Roach at mid-off, and there's no run. Understandably, the noise level, the volume level has fallen. Surrey, a little weary now. Been out there for a long old time. Azad waits as Dunn is in and bowling outside off stump. Good line, but just too wide to make Azad play, and he doesn't. Lets it go through. 258 for 3, just 39 behind on first innings now. behind Surrey's first innings, I should say, Leicestershire. So it does, I suppose, become a bit of a factor in terms of reducing if they go past, and then, as you say, the 2 overs would come in for the change of innings. Plus, as Dunn is in and bowling, and Azad is looking to force off the back foot and does, past Stoneman at point. He's going to pick up just the one as third man runs around to deep point to field. Azad on to 125 and has kept the strike. 259 now for 3.
Yeah, he has, and a very, very good innings this. In its own way, as I say, it's a work of art this from Azad. One big appeal for caught behind, wasn't there, with Verdi bowling to him. Sorry, all went up, but not given. But other than that, he hasn't had too many alarms. I suppose that edge from Dunn in that over, really. Other than that, nothing is. Roach is into him. Good solid defensive shot again from Azad, pushing this one out towards extra cover. Azad's broken his bat. I think he's made 125 runs with this piece of willow, and he's just broken his bat, poor fella.
I bet he keeps it.
Oh, without a doubt. That will have some running repairs before the game on Thursday to try and get that one back. But I think now he's going to get it changed. I wonder if just a little bit out the bottom, perhaps, or just a little crack as a come out, and it sensibly get that bat off and get another one on.
I'll ask him. Can I have it? Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get it signed and we'll get it auctioned for charity.
Well, interestingly, I only thought of this only the other day. When Ramprakash got his 100th 100, he borrowed Scott Newman's bat, and Scott Newman was at the other end.
Did he have to give it back?
Well, I think Newman got hold of it and got Ramprakash to sign it for him.
Right.
So
there you go.
So yeah, but it wasn't actually Mark Rampakash's bat he got 100 hundreds with. It was Scott Newman's, and ironically, when Ramprakash went to the 100, Scott Newman was at the other end with him. So now, as that, of course, in club cricket sometimes you can find that if you break your bat, you just borrow the bloke at the other end, don't you? 259 for 3 is round the wicket comes Roach, and Azad with his new bat. Normal service is resumed. He just tucks this one off his hip down towards Jordan Clark at long leg. They'll take a single. That'll be one more to the total. 260 for 3, and Hill comes back onto strike on 53.
Very much a coach's look down there, isn't it? Richard Johnson and Tom Smith walking around together, almost identical.
Yes.
In appearance, in the clothes, everything.
Over the wicket again is Roach, and Hill forward, and soft hands, slow one I think from Kemar Roach, and Hill will take another single. 261 for 3.
Both got sort of quilted hoodies on, tracksuit bottoms with narrow legs, black trainers. Not a great deal on top.
Two very fine bowlers in their own right, those two. Of course, Richard Johnson.
He has a 10 foot, hasn't he? Didn't he?
He had a 10 foot, yeah, absolutely. 6 for on debut for England, I think. As forward goes the left-handed Azad, and pushes this one out towards extra cover.
In fact, Johnson was the last 10 foot before Otis Gibson.
He's down there
Have
at
there
the moment.
been any since? I don't know. In county cricket?
I don't think they have.
Been a 9 for them now.
Yes, well, and Ollie Robinson, very good from him. Of course, there are 2 Ollie Robinsons in county cricket, aren't there? There's round the wicket once again comes Kemar Roach, and that's hitting the thigh guard of Azad. And he got across his stumps, and leg by is going to be the signal. And that'll be one more to the total, 262 for 3. Of course, there's Ollie Robinson at Kent as well, who's the keeper batsman. But this is Ollie Robinson, the bowler at Sussex.
Big strapping, fair-haired individual.
Well, he's certainly, again, nudging the selectors. Ollie Robinson, they want to have a look at him, I'm sure, pretty soon. As Kemar Roach is into Lewis Hill, and Hill pushes off the back foot into the offside. Again, you probably heard the cry of no there from Lewis Hill, and there is no run. End of the over, 262 for 3. So even with the new ball, as I say, not a lot is happening out there at the moment. Hill has 54, Azad has 126. The partnership is worth 119.
Umpire Pollard is saying something to Rory Burns and Jamie Overton. An ongoing dialogue as he walks back towards point rather than square leg, because at square leg he's looking directly west into the setting sun. Not quite setting yet. Over the wicket goes Dunn and bowls to Azad. That characteristic sort of back foot guide out through backward point down to wide third man. Takes his single. Moves on to 127. 263 for 3, the deficit to Surrey's first innings now 34. Number of overs to be bowled, if we get them, 27.5. Verdi's gone out to the cover boundary, sweeper really, I beg your pardon, square leg boundary, because of course it's the right-handed. Hill on strike. In goes Dunn, outside off stump. Hill up on his toes, forcing into the offside, can't get it past the man at short extra, who's down on one knee and struggling to get back up. It's Jamie Smith, who'll be tired actually, because he batted superbly for a long part of yesterday. Outstanding first championship century for Surrey. He will remember this game very fondly. Wonderful partnership with Ollie Pope. Dunn is in, bowling onto the legs of Hill and full and clipped away towards deep mid-wicket. Can Verdi get there? He might have done an hour ago. Not this time. He was not quite running through sand. He was doing his best, and he rather sort of dived over the path of the ball, fell over the path of the ball in the end. He's bowled 30 overs, and even a spinner feels that. Hill picks up 4, moves on to 58, 267 for 3.
Yeah, he did his best to get there, didn't he?
He did.
Amar Verdi, but just beat him with the dive. I think had that been 12 o'clock this morning, midday, he'd have got to that.
As I was saying, I reckoned about an hour ago he might have got there, but not this time. In goes Dunn and bowls a bouncer, but again it's a really loopy effort down the leg side. Nothing in the pitch, and Folkes falls to his left and takes it on the second bounce.
Yeah, that's again really did bang that in, did Matthew Dunn, and it's bounced a good couple of foot in front of Ben Folkes away to his left hand side.
Dunn looks up to us in the JM Finn stand, and White pushes his hair back from his brow, turns and runs in and bowls to Hill, who drives it back past him. Beautiful off drive for 4. Amler gives up the chase early, bounced back past Dunn's right hand. Hill picks up 4, moves on to 62, playing some nice shots. Lewis Hill now, as indeed is Azad, on 127. Partnership, after going past 100, is beginning to pick up pace. It's 128 now, and the run rate has picked up a little bit as well. Therefore, in the innings as a whole, it's gone up to 3.16. Dunn in, bowls. Hill again on drives. This time Roach athletically gets across and makes a very good stop. And only Ben Folkes applauds there. Roachy, he says, well done.
Yeah,
Deserves a bit more of that. I thought that was really good stop. I'd have been proud of that.
I think the sort of inevitable at the moment, inevitability of all of this. I think they'll have one last throw of the dice here with Amar Verdi with the new ball. And I always thought, as I was saying, it would need something unbelievable, even with the new ball. But 10 wickets Surrey needed today, starting today. But this pitch has just got better, I think. And absolute credit to Leicestershire for the way they've done this, and Azad in particular.
Right, I'll play devil's advocate and say, better? Question mark? Or is it dying a bit? Do you know what I mean? As in, is it better for cricket that it should be as flat as this, or does it?
Oh no, you want something. You know,
yeah.
you've just taken the new ball and you bang one in if you're Matthew Dunn, and it bounces 1.5 foot in front of your keeper. It's a bit soul destroying, really. It's Amar Verdi, as we suspected.
Is it me?
Yes, sir.
It is in and trying to turn it down the leg side, little inside sort of edge from Azad, and it goes very fine, but it is signalled for. So there was an appeal, but a little bit of an edge onto the pad and down to fine leg. Azad moves on to 131, his first class best, very much in sight now. It's 139. He's now on 131. Verdi is in and bowling, and Azad just carefully forward, turning the delivery into the leg side, jogs towards it, Overton.
Yeah, Jordan Clark's getting warmed up, so he's going to have a dart as well, I think, from the Vauxhall end.
He's a man who has shown he can make things happen. Verdi in, bowls, forward goes Azad. Forward defensive out into the offside from off stump, no run.
Proper vigil this though, hasn't it been from Hassan Azad? Really good.
Remember he faced, was it 17 overs yesterday? In company with Sam Evans. In goes Verdi, bowls, reaching for that one, a touch perhaps. Got plenty on it, pushed it out into the offside. So 86.4 overs in the innings. He's been there for all of those. Verdi bowls. He turns that one off middle and leg into the leg side. Overton walks towards it, picks it up. 275. Deficit 22 now. 23 more runs than needed to make Surrey bat again. Verdi bowls, Azad goes back and defends, playing the ball off the pitch. Then he's walking away towards square leg before it's even in the hands of Stoneman at short extra end of the over. 31 overs. Amar Verdi has bowled now. 62 to Lewis Hill, 131 to Azad, 275 for 3 Leicestershire.
Yeah, and a really good game for the batsman. That's what you'd say. It's been a terrific game for the batsman. And 245 for Ollie Pope, and a debut 100 for, well, a first championship 100 for Surrey for Jamie Smith, and then of course Sam Evans with his first 100 for Leicestershire, and now Hassan Azad with 100, and then, you know, really nice contributions from the likes of Hill and Folkes and Jordan Clark, who's got the ball in his hands now. Hill's average could be terrific if he can get to whenever we're, I think, going to shake hands, not out. His average here will be marvellous. As he's waiting is Lewis Hill for Jordan Clark, who's into him, and he's forward to a good length delivery and plays this one straight back up the pitch. And Jordan Clark doing the fielding off his own bowling, and there is no run, but there's been a lot to admire and enjoy over these 4 days. But yes, I thought it would be hard work for Surrey at 11 o'clock this morning. I didn't think it would have been quite as hard as it has been today for them, as Jordan Clark is in. And forward again goes Hill. He's taking on a quick single to Kemar Roach, and Kemar Roach is diving and hitting the stumps, but Hill is safely home. Was always there, Hill. Good athleticism from Kemar Roach. I think he was little on his heels when he started, but dived forward, and sort of his momentum taking him towards the stumps, and then just a little flick of the ball and hitting the stumps. 276 for 3 now.
Azad looked a little startled. Not surprisingly. Seemed slightly unnecessary risk there. Keeping the scoreboard moving there, Lewis Hill.
Well, he's played well again 70 in the first innings, 63 not out in the second innings. Waits again, does Azad on a 131. Jordan Clark is into him, and Azad punches this leg side into lots of space. He should get 3, I think. Ollie Pope, no, we'll decide on 2. These two have been out there a long time now, so not absolutely sprinting. Don't need to at the moment. 135. The partnership, just 19 runs to make Surrey bat again. That could be an important landmark, I think, in the entire day when they get to 19. Because it'll take 2 overs out. And Leicestershire won't be declaring. And as I say, I'm sure Surrey are going to take 7 wickets at the moment. As here is Jordan Clark in over the wicket to Azad, and Azad is pushing this one straight back up the pitch. Kemar Roach doing the fielding there, moving round to his left-hand side. Yeah, Surrey haven't bowled badly today by any stretch of the imagination. It's just they haven't had a lot to work with, really. There's a siren, sound of South London, going up the Harleford Road as sun out as Jordan Clark is in, and Azad across his stumps and turns this one leg side. There's Ollie Pope coming round to do the fielding to the bowler's end. Oh, what a throw from Ollie Pope. He's hit the stumps at the bowler's end just with a little flick out there from deep mid-wicket. It's almost run away for 4 overthrows because that took everybody by surprise, but Ollie Pope just flicked it wristily and it's hit the stumps at the bowler's end, but Hill was safely home, but then it almost ricocheted away for 4 overthrows, which would have been unfortunate. Would have got us a bit closer to those 17 runs that Leicestershire now trail by. 280 for 3 as we hit 5 o'clock here on this last day. Jordan Clark is coming in over the wicket to Azad on 135, and Azad heard the cry, yeah, as he just turns this again out towards deep backward square. They'll take the single, 1 more to the total. 281 for 3. Hill 63, Azad 136, and it'll be Amar Verdi to continue down there from the pavilion end.
16 overs for Roach, none for 59, 14, none for 59 for Dunn, 31, 1 for 69 for Verdi, 11, none for 28 for Overton, 11, 2 for 37 for Clark. Stoneman and Burns, the other 2 bowlers used. Verdi, who's been admirable really, goes in around the wicket to Azad, floats one down. Azad just waits and plays it gently down into the on side, picked up by Overton. Shadows of the floodlights on Rory Burns and Jamie Smith behind Ben Folkes as in goes Verdi to Azad, turned down towards fine leg. Smith has to put in the run, encumbered as he is with pads underneath his whites and helmet atop his head. Runs back, manages to keep it to 2. Azad on to 138, just 1 short of his first class career best now. No change to the field. Verdi hops in and bowls. Azad just gently turns a straight delivery off middle to Overton at mid-wicket. No running, it just peers studiously down at his feet, carefully takes guard again. Taps his bat, not hard, doesn't do anything really hard. In goes Verdi and bowls outside off stump. Steps forward as Azad allows it through to Folkes, who shows the ball to the stumps but doesn't bother whipping the bails off on this occasion. Very quiet out there now, really quiet as in goes Verdi bowls and driven into the offside. Is there a run there? Yes, there is, after a momentary hesitation because Roach was diving towards the ball, couldn't quite get there, slowed it down. Pope completed the fielding and Azad picks up 1 and has now matched his first class career best. quite past it. He has to watch now. As Verdi's going to go around the wicket. No, he's not. He's going to go, of course he's not. He's going to go over the wicket to Lewis Hill. Slip and short leg. The two close fielders. As Verdi is in to Hill. Nice and straight, middle stump. Turned by Hill. Close of the bat out to mid-wicket, and that is the end of the over. We seem to be getting to these sanitising breaks quite quickly now with Verdi bowling, and we have theoretically 24 left to bowl. It's 5:04.
Yeah, I think
I'm just watching the umpires if there's any sort of signal.
Yeah, I think they're talking about the last hour now.
That's what I mean. If they could in some way let us know.
Well, they've just pointed to a watch and had a chat, but they haven't actually pointed the watch towards the.
Do they tell the scorers?
Yeah, that's the way it normally is. That they point towards their whatever their watch is for the scorers. But this might tell you something. Mark Stoneman's coming into the attack.
I think your 10 past call.
Yeah, well, it just made sense. Basically, what would have had to have happened, I think, is with the new ball, someone took a hat-trick or something. But that I'd have been amazed, really, after what we've seen. And, you know, Leicestershire, well played. Really good from Leicestershire today. They've got through the day. As I say, on a pitch that, if you're trying to save the game, you'd want to wrap up and put in your back pocket. But fair play to Leicestershire, Azad in particular. As I say, in its own way, this has been a work of art. Rearguard innings from Azad. I don't think there's much more Surrey could have done today, really. They've tried everything. As Stoneman is in, they're trying Stoneman again.
Ooh.
Oh, hello. Stoneman's straightened one here on Azad.
Look at folks smiling
that round
away.
arm action, and he's just straightened one at Azad there for a second. As here he comes again, Stoneman, and Azad is punching him down towards backward point, and there is no run. So the only time you thought, hang on, was when Jordan Clark took those 2 wickets in 2 balls, as Azad drives off that back foot through the covers, and that's his highest first-class score now.
It is.
Moves on to 140. Does Hassan Azad, and I'm pretty sure, being the intelligent young man that he is, he probably knows that as well. So on to 140 he goes, and 285 for 3 now. Leicestershire means that we can all get on our motorways a bit quicker tonight as well. A few long drives ahead for coaches and commentators and reporters and players, as this is turned leg side by Hill out towards deep backward square, and they'll take one more. Hill moves on to 64, 286 for 3. Azad back onto strike on 140. Stoneman is into him, and this is punched off the back foot by Azad, and Jamie Overton gets round to his left hand side to do the fielding. Waits again, does Azad, and short and punched away through extra cover out towards Matthew Dunn, who's done the fielding, and the throw comes in. End of the over, 287 for 3, so we're into the final knockings of all of this at the moment. And Hill 64, Azad 141.
Trying to think if I ever hit a shot when the ball sounded like that off the bat. You know, that really lovely crisp rifle. Probably not.
I think the ones that you know you've timed it is where you don't even feel it. You don't even feel it hit the bat, and it absolutely whistles off to the boundary rope.
So Verdi from the pavilion end. It's 7 minutes past 5. This might just be the last over. In he goes, bowls to Azad, who is carefully forward, pushing it out into the offside, picked up by Stoneman, and there's no run. A rare aeroplane goes overhead, very rare, as Verdi is in, gives it a bit of a rip outside off stump, but unfortunately for him it's a little bit too wide, and Azad just steps back and watches it through into the gloves of folks. Partnership is now 144 for the 4th wicket. Verdi in, forward goes Azad, playing it down the pitch on the off side. Stoneman picks up. This is 30 over number 33 for Verdi. In he goes and bowls, tosses it up outside off stump. A modicum of turn, but from very wide to even wider, and it's very slow.
There are batsmen that are going to be leaving London tonight with their averages having gone up.
Yes, they're not going to. They don't want to get out now, these two, do they? A nice blob to go with their runs would be very good. In goes Verdi, bowls, and Azad takes it from outside off stump and turns it out towards deep mid wicket. Clark comes in, and a single is taken. Azad onto 142. Hill has 64, 288 for 3. Leicestershire. Back over the wicket goes Verdi and bowls. Back goes Hill, playing it off the stumps, firmly out to mid-off, and there is no run. We are going to continue, and I have an update to do.
Absolutely, Richard Ray will nip the next door to give an update to BBC Radio Leicester listeners that Leicestershire are almost there now. Getting through today, battling away, getting themselves a draw. Very fine effort this from Leicestershire. Stoneman's third over, none for 6 so far, as he will come round the wicket to Hassan Azad, and Azad is punching him away again off the back foot out towards Matthew Dunn, who's sweeping out there on the cover boundary rope. One more to the total. One more to Hassan Azad. Mark Stoneman comes over the wicket, and Hill covers up, pushes this one straight back up the pitch. Stoneman doing the fielding off his own bowling. Starts spinning the ball in his fingers once again, does Stoneman. Then comes over the wicket to Hill, who's short arm jabbing this really out towards Matthew Dunn. Underarms the ball up to Jamie Overton, and then the left-handed Azad comes back onto strike on 143. As Stoneman's in, that's very short, and this should be 4. Will it be 4? Matthew Dunn does very well, gets round quickly, does Matthew Dunn. Very athletic stuff that from Matthew Dunn, getting round quickly and picking up to his left and then getting the throw away. 291 for 3. Stoneman is in again, and this one is forced off the back foot by Lewis Hill, and off goes Ollie Pope in hot pursuit, but that's going to beat him over the boundary rope and away for 4. So trailing by just the 2 runs now are Leicestershire, with a ball of this over to go, and the 150 partnership comes up between Azad and Hill. Hill 69, Azad 144. Hill waits once more. Stoneman is into him, and Hill turns this one leg side. They thought about a single, but there was never one there, as the throw comes in from Jamie Overton over the top of the stumps, and they pick up no run. 295 for 3. I think Rory Burns is asking the question here. Can we all shake hands? I think this could be it. Yes, this is it. So that is a shake of hands, and the match is drawn at 5:15, with Leicestershire having done a terrific job today. 295 for 3. They'll finish with Azad on 144 not out, and Lewis Hill on 69 not out. I don't know what more Surrey could have done really. They've tried everything today, but they've come across a pitch that just got better to bat on really, but huge amount to take out the game for both sides, and batsmen really, of course, and Sam Evans with his first 100, as I was saying, in the championship for Leicestershire, and a first championship 100 for Jamie Smith, and then Azad's 100 today, and the double 100 from Ollie Pope. It's been a very good game for the batsmen. Hard work for the bowlers, mind. Hard work for the bowlers, but Leicestershire will be very, very happy with that, to have got through and got the draw and got through today. Knew they had to bat all day today, Leicestershire, and they have done that. And very well done to them for getting to this point, and Surrey shaking hands and saying enough's enough, even with a new ball, enough's enough. So all the players are there, fist pumping away, as is the way of doing it these days. And well, thank you for your company as well here on BBC Radio London and BBC Radio Leicester, and on the Surrey live stream, of course. It's been a great honour as always to bring you coverage of this game for Leicestershire. They head home now and open up on Thursday against Somerset, so good luck to Leicestershire in that one against Somerset. For Surrey, it's the London derby. They head to Lords on Thursday to take on Middlesex, and of course there'll be full coverage of both those games on the BBC for you. Richard will be with Anthony Gibson, I'll be with Kevin Hand. But the news here from the Kier Oval this evening on this fourth and final day is Leicestershire have batted all day to get to 295 for 3. The match is drawn. From myself, Mark Church, from Richard Ray, who's next door giving his update at the moment, who's been an absolute star as always. Absolutely lovely to have 4 days with Richard. But from us all tonight on BBC Radio London, BBC Radio Leicester and the Surrey live stream, until Thursday, my friends, it's a very good night to one and all.